When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
My mic isn't on, but I was yelling so
Monday.
loudly that I thought it was.
I thought maybe my volume wasn't up. Well, let me check this.
The Mariners snapped a 5-game losing streak. George Kirby looks absolutely phenomenal. We've still got questions about the offense. And, of course, we got big news out of the NCAA. A lot to get to in the first hour. Let's start with the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners snapped this losing streak thanks to an unbelievable outing from George Kirby. If you had a little list of things that you were concerned about when it comes to this team and is George Kirby okay, it was one of them, go ahead and check that off. Cross it out. Erase it. Get rid of it. I don't think you need to worry about it.
Yeah, first let me apologize to the listeners, man. Allergies are whooping my butt today. I took my medicine, so your boy might sound a little different. But, yes, George Kirby, that was one of the things we were interested to see, right? Can he bounce back? Well, this was his third or fourth start?
Fourth.
His fourth start, right? After his third, we're like, okay, let's get things moving. But his fourth, he looks good. 14 Ks. Obviously, it's a record for him, tied for the most in the bigs this year. His fastball got up to about 98, and you just felt and saw the confidence that we're used to seeing out of this guy. And they needed that type of performance, unfortunately, against the Anaheim Angels to get this thing done. But, yes, now we can relax in that with that front. Okay, Kirby looks like he has the ability to look like the guy that we saw last year. Other things to worry about, though, other things.
I still have other things to worry about. We'll get to them as part of this segment. Don't worry. Let's stick with Kirby for just a little bit. Striking out Ward for his 14th strikeout of the game.
His 3-2 to Ward. Strike three called, got him. 96, scraping the edge. Career high, strikeout 14 for George Kirby. He continues to dazzle here in Anaheim. What a day it's been for George.
So what was different this time around? Here's Kirby talking about what he did better yesterday than in previous starts.
Get ahead, kind of, hitting my spots wherever Garb calls it, and just getting a lot of swings and misses today, honestly. If I do that, I know I'm really good. So.
Look, if you've got Kirby playing like this, who, by the way, with Mitch Garver as his catcher, is it time to say they should bench Rowley? I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Oh,
I'd be so heated if I was Cal. I'd
If
be
I'm
like,
Cal,
really?
I'm like,
you
on my
saved
day
that
off?
for when Mitch was there?
On my day off?
On my day off.
And y'all get a win?
The
Disrespectful.
audacity of that. The
Disrespectful.
audacity. No, but I guess credit to Mitch Garver for being there behind the dish for a big day from Kirby. No, there's absolutely nothing you can say to take away from what Kirby did. And thankfully, this team was able to reward him with a win. Let's talk about the series as a whole. Let's talk about some other things you might still have on that list of concerns, Bump. I'm guessing offense is one of them.
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
You already know offense. I had to go back and kind of see what everyone did as a whole, right? Cal was 3 for 8, hit 2 bombs. Julio 4 for 11, had a triple. Only struck out once this whole deal. Randy was 6 for 12, had 2 3-hit games, but only drove in 1 run. And JP had he bet like 230 during this series. Those are the names that we focus on to start off naturally, and then you kind of go down the lineup and see who did what. Solano had himself a hit this past game. Williamson had a couple knocks. Young had a hit as well, but you're just not driving teams in. Mariners, they averaged 5 runners left in scoring position in the last 3 games. So you're getting guys on base, but you're doing absolutely nothing with it. It feels like this team is going back to the team we saw last year. This game is a 2024 Mariners game, this last game against the Angels, that 3-2 win. You get great pitching. You get runners on base. You barely drive them in. You sneak away with a win. Your guy on the mound had to dominate.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll take a win however I can get it.
Sure.
But I prefer you to play a bit more better against the Angels.
Yeah, I'll take a win how I can get it, but I'd love it to be where you don't have to do one or the other. You know what I mean? Like, could we get Kirby out there looking phenomenal and also the offense still looking pretty solid? Like, why not both? You know what I mean?
Right.
I swear to God, with this team, sometimes it's like you can't have the bullpen being solid, you can't have the offense going, you can't have your stars hitting, and you also can't have the pitching be healthy and good. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. And
that
maybe
too
that's
much
the
to ask?
baseball curse, right? Maybe the baseball curse, and for that matter, the curse with sports is that rarely are you going to be hitting on all cylinders. It's just not going to happen. Sure, fine, I can accept that. But the bummer is when you've seen the offense look much better this year, it's not like they hit the ground falling over themselves, tripping over their own shoelaces. They hit the ground running. They were looking really solid. And then you had Jorge Polanco just fall off a cliff. Dylan Moore, by the way, quietly really, really struggling. And I think because he's not like a primary starter, because he's not a guy that you're looking to with all the expectations in the world, you just kind of ignore a bad day. But he's been seriously struggling. I don't think he has a hit since May 27th. So, yeah, I don't want to poo-poo a win. I would feel more confident about a team if they could get the offense going.
Yeah, I think Demo's a big one because he's responsible or was responsible for a lot of those just spark plug type of plays, right? A big play here, a big play there. He hits a home run, and it's almost like he's faded off into the abyss, and we need guys like him to step it up. I love that Williamson and Cole got themselves a couple of hits or a hit for Cole and one for Williamson or two for Williamson, but I would prefer to not have to look to the young guys to save the day. I'm glad that they are at least that last game looks like they're seeing the pitches and doing what they're supposed to do. But you need these veterans to step up and do their thing. A win's a win. I shall take it. I'm glad the 5-game losing streak is over. But things have changed a bit for this team. And for them to have the success that we need, you need the veterans to step up and help at the bottom of the lineup. So, we'll see where this thing goes, man. I'm officially, even though they won this game, I'm still even more concerned.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like the way they won it is not what's
Well, no, it's what we saw last year.
It's what we saw
George
too
Kirby
many times
looked
last year.
perfect. And then you still had you had the game tying run and a game winning run at the plate late.
Yeah, and it's almost like
he struck out.
and you're wasting good performances too. Like
know.
Cal hits 2 bombs and we can't figure that thing out. One in the first, one in the ninth, and it's just it's frustrating. It's not as fun anymore to watch this squad play.
No, and I'm okay watching a team that isn't absolutely dominant. There are many teams that can win championships without being the most dominant team that year. We've seen it happen before a million times. It's fine. I don't love watching a team that could have been a lot better, and not only that was pitched, no pun intended, as being a much better team.
Yeah.
Like when Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander were telling us all, fans, about this year, they didn't say, yeah, we're really going to be playing on the margins. Like, we're just going to be squeaking by. They were like, this offense is going to be much better. We really believe in this offense. And we love these pitchers, and we chose not to deal from this pitching staff just in case there were injuries, but also because this is a big part of our identity. All right, great. Credit to you for not dealing from the pitching staff. You ended up needing that depth badly. I'll tip of the cap, to you on that one. Where's the offense?
Well, here's the thing, too, with them. I would imagine that the guys upstairs are saying, look, the way we started this season, that's the team that we expect us to be, right? There has to be one point of the year where you're kind of patting yourself on the back and saying, yes, we found a way to put a solid team together. So now you're, 60-something games in, and it seems like you're teetering a little bit. The question now is, where do you go from here? Right, I wanted them to pat themselves on the back and say, great job, but also let's pat ourselves on the back and figure out ways to get better. Because when you look across the league, there's no way you look at this roster and say this is a championship winning type of roster. You're getting unbelievable play from Cal Raleigh, like having the best season we've seen from a catcher. You're getting solid play from Julio. JP has his moment, and Randy bounces back and forth. You need to put together a lineup that you feel like, more often than not, are going to come through with runners in scoring position. More often than not, they're going to put up at least 3 to 4 runs to keep things competitive because you have your arms getting healthy. Where do you go from here? So, they still have an opportunity here to prove everybody wrong, to go out and do something to bolster this roster.
Yeah.
We just don't believe that they're going to do it. So we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But this 5-game skid, I hope it just put so much fear in them that you might just trick off a season that you were in full control of.
I want a rant that I have about a lack of offense to make me look like an idiot. That's what I want from this team.
Yeah,
like, I
that.
desperately just want to look like I know absolutely nothing about what this team is doing, because I go on rants just privately all the time about this offense. Like, for instance, we have a texter who said, where's the criticism for Julio? He's the highest paid player on a budget strap team, and you're going after Dylan Moore. Trash take. Well, if Dylan had a hit, I wouldn't need to go after Dylan Moore. And I'm sorry, but like, I have said repeatedly, Bump has said repeatedly that Julio needs to do more because Julio is capable of doing more. You know what I mean? Yes, you have higher expectations for a player that has more tools. But I'm sorry, you think this team is like better without Julio? Do you think that just pointing to Julio whenever you struggle as a team and ignoring problems elsewhere somehow answers that? Or do you think it's a more holistic approach to team building to look at all the areas on your team where you could use improvement and say, hey, where's more from this guy? So you're telling me to expect nothing from Dylan Moore. The Mariners do. You're telling me to expect nothing from Leody Taveras. Expect nothing from him. The Mariners do. You're telling me to look at one player on this roster and go, do more, Julio. What's that? What is that? I'm sorry. That's a trash take, Denny.
Yeah, that is a trash take.
Denny, I'm sorry. I disagree with you on this
here's
one.
the thing, too.
And I get really tired of Stop acting like never in our life have we said, Julio, you got to do more, man. You have to do more.
Yeah.
Shut up.
It's a team sport, and we call it how we see it. Julio doesn't do better. But if Julio, and we can look at Cal in the same way, if Cal balls out, is that a guaranteed victory? No, we just saw him hit 2 bombs, and when we lost that game. You know, if Julio just balls out, is that a guaranteed victory? No. You need your top to do their thing. You need your bottom to do their thing. Julio had a decent series. It wasn't bad. 4 for 11 is 363 with a triple. Like, he did okay. All right. But if Julio were to go out and have a day that Cal had with 2 bombs, there's no guaranteed. So you need to put at-bats together. So ignoring the bottom of the lineup would be irresponsible.
It is.
And we've called out Julio a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Because, look, you're not wrong, Denny, this texter. You're not wrong. Julio needs to do more. Yeah, everyone knows that. Julio knows that. The coaching staff knows that. The front office knows that. He is being paid to do more. But by the way, Curtis, you know far more about baseball. We're not talking about this guy being paid some Juan Soto-esque contract and he's bombing all the time.
No, his contract only reaches that like $400 million plateau if he hits a bunch of like award incentives over the next few years, which, I mean, he could. I don't know if he will, but over the course of the contract that he signed, it's probably going to come out to about 200-something million, which for a player that puts up the kinds of numbers that he does is kind of the going rate for players of his talent.
The problem with this team is not just that they were counting on and are counting on Julio to be an MVP for them to excel. It's that they're counting on anyone to carry a team. And thankfully that person right now is Cal Raleigh. Thank God for Cal Raleigh's season. And for that matter, thank God for what Jorge Polanco was doing in March and April, because this team would be in a bad place without that. But you can't then look at the guys, those 3 guys who aren't performing and go, well, they need to save the team. No. Your front office needs to build up the best possible roster they can. And there are a couple names on this team right now that are definitely not that. And just because they're not superstars or being paid like it doesn't mean that they can be automatic outs.
Yeah, everybody should be held accountable, from the guys upstairs to the top of the order, the middle to the bottom of the order, to the pitching staff, the relievers. It's a team sport. Everybody can get in and has to take responsibility for the poor performance, especially because we've seen more out of this team. So here's my question as a coach. Like, what is the difference now? Right? We've spoken to many baseball experts, and this isn't an emotional game where you can just try harder, rah, go out there and win one for the Gipper. No, that's not how this thing works. This is baseball. So what's different? Is the approach different? Is the mental different? Is the message different? I wish I had some insight, because baseball is such a technical sport. Are they being attacked differently? I have a few questions. Have they been figured out in some ways? What are the coaches seeing? Because they're getting all this data that we probably have access to.
Yeah,
they're getting this data. They're seeing how they're being pitched. Are we not adjusting? What's the deal right now? Because something needs to happen fast. Luckily, you won that game, because you would have been 32-32. You would have been at 500 and struggling in an AOS that is still gettable. What are you, 2.5 games behind now? It's still gettable. So make an adjustment. What that adjustment is, I couldn't tell you. You can look at the basic stuff and say, all right, swinging at the right pitches, pitchers hitting their spots, playing good defense. All right, where's the other data? Because you have to be being attacked in a way that's messing with your philosophy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And can we just get, for this upcoming series, maybe just hitting on all cylinders, right? Kevin and Callie, the M's average 4.3 runs per game versus the Angels. It wasn't an offense issue. It was a pitching issue. Right. On Sunday, it certainly wasn't. Overwhelmingly, the issue with this team has been the offense is good, but you can't count on it, and the pitching has been banged up and not what it was. So it just feels like you can never have a day when everything's kind of firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Is my frustrating thing with this team.
I'm with
but
that.
a good point, Kevin.
I'm with that.
So we'll see what happens, obviously, in this upcoming series here. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Thunder and Pacers are tied at 1-1 in the NBA Finals after OKC's blowout win in Game 2. What's the real headline?
Every Seattle win comes with a cost. Sorry, I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh, my God, we're such idiots. Did you think you could win that Mariners game Sunday and not have it come at a cost somewhere? Every Seattle win comes with a cost.
I think most people expected this, right? The Pacers did their job game one by sneaking one. You want to win one on the road, and then obviously OKC being such a great home team, I felt like this was going to go down. So successful road trip for the Pacers. Now you got to take care of home and force OKC to kind of take one away from you like you did from them. I love watching SGA play. I got one problem with him, though. You can't even put a finger on that dude or he's going to the ground. Like, goodness gracious. He does a great job getting to the free throw line. Harden did the same thing. But it's like, my mans, you did not have to fall to the floor for that. And it's almost like the referees are so caught up in a moment. Oh, look at him falling down, taking a shot. A lot of those weren't fouls. We got to let these dudes play a little bit. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number two, thanks to a legal settlement that was approved in federal court Friday night, schools can begin directly paying student athletes from a pool of $20.5 million each starting on July 1st. What's the real headline?
How's Alabama going to work around this?
They're
How
gonna
are
be
these
fine.
schools
They're
going
gonna
to?
be fine.
They're going to find. Now, what I'm wondering is, it's a monumental thing, and we'll talk with Dan Wetzel, who has a feature on ESPN about this coming up at 11. We'll talk about the ruling itself to prime you guys for this coming up at 10:45. The interesting debate, and correct me if I'm wrong, is now, because you're doling out the money as a school to your sports programs directly, and it's that classic conundrum of like, well, how do you do this fairly?
How you divide it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Now, everyone is going to, or not everyone, a lot of people are going to say, well, this sport should get just as much. Let's be real.
No,
Men's
they should not.
basketball
No.
and football drive this thing, so they need to get the majority
Yes.
of the money
Yeah.
so you can keep driving this thing and spread the funds out when they go to these bowl games and playoffs because everybody eats. You got to support the programs that make the most money for you. And but you're right, it's like the percentages, right? I saw one that said maybe football gets 35%, basketball gets 25%, this sport gets that, and then like there's 5-6 sports that get 5%. Now a lot of those sports are like golf or swimming or something like that where the numbers aren't as big. So you can see that 5% and say, oh, well, that isn't fair. It's all about what they're producing. They said every swim team in America and in college swim, every team is in a deficit, every swim team, because they just don't produce. Like, they're not on TV. People don't go to their meets like that.
Yeah, this is an attack.
It is what it is. You know? It's an attack.
This is a personal attack.
It is what it is. But they'll figure it out. We're going to talk about this more later, right?
Yes.
All
So
right,
we're
I'm
going to
hold some of this.
kind of like have a primer at 10:45 explaining what it is that happened. And then Dan Wetzel is going to join us at 11. And if you guys have questions about it, you can text them in anytime and we'll send them Dan's way.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number three, a 21-year-old man, Earl Henderson Riley, was charged for a string of thefts at the homes of prominent Seattle athletes such as Julio Rodriguez, Luis Castillo, Edgar Martinez, Richard Sherman, and Blake Snell. What's the real headline?
It's almost like he knew when these athletes would be out of town.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's
Sounds
almost
you
like
have their
someone,
schedule.
yeah, it's almost like someone
Can I find
posted
their schedules anywhere?
their schedule of when they would be home and away publicly.
I need all you athletes out there who can't afford it to step your security game up, man, because these young dudes out here are not playing and going after your stuff. And I can't imagine being away from my home, coming back and noticing things are missing. Like, you just feel violated. I had my home broken into when I was little, and we came back, and it was like, you feel violated. The best part about this is that all these guys are safe, and it doesn't seem like he's a violent type of dude when it comes to breaking in, entering, all that stuff, obviously, because he's doing it when we're on the road. But, yeah, it's too easy to get information, and this young dude got some information and went on a rant. But how long did you think this was going to last, dog?
You knew you'd get caught.
You can't get all these dudes and think you can just keep the party rolling. That's where you messed up.
Yeah, you knew that you would get caught. And it is just something that's like, it's not going to go away, because within that sarcasm is just fundamental truth. These are millionaire athletes whose schedules are publicly posted. So, to Bump's point, get as good a security as you can possibly find. And obviously, here's the thing. You know when the athletes are and are not going to be home. You don't know about other people in that household. And the scary situation that happened with Richard Sherman is that his family was home and his wife was home, right? Like, those are the situations that you also risk, and it's so scary. An athlete traveling isn't going to stop. So maybe what needs to happen is, if people notice that this is a rising issue with athletes, and it is, this happened with some prominent Kansas City athletes as well, then I'm not saying like get a task force, but I'm saying like then maybe we're aware of a rising crime issue. Hey, growing crime issue, people can see when millionaire athletes are gone and they target their homes.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard too, because I know a lot of these guys don't live in gated communities. They live in good communities. They don't live in gated communities where, you know, you got to get through the young man or lady sitting at the gate. But they're finding ways. And this makes me concerned, because it's only going to get worse, because you can get so much information about somebody nowadays. It is crazy. I'm just glad everybody's safe.
I just think something about stealing and thievery has always irked me in a way that, like, outpaces the crime itself. Like, it's not murder, but something about it always just, I don't know. Do you have anything like that where you're like, I get so irrationally frustrated or annoyed with this thing that, like, definitely outpaces how annoyed or frustrated
Well, I mean,
should
just
be.
the inconvenience.
And it doesn't have to be a serious one.
Just the inconvenience that comes with being a victim of theft or burglary. I've had my car broken into a couple of times. And it's like dealing with insurance, dealing with the body shop to get the car fixed, and it's just like, oh, this is going to be a headache for the next month.
I know.
Oh, I hate this.
Well, and there's just something about it that's like, you don't think other people struggle? You don't think it would have been easier for, like, a number of people growing up to just steal things that they needed? Like, to go in and, like, steal a designer bag and have that money? I don't know. I look down on it, and I'll say that blatantly.
Yeah. A thief is one of the worst things to be.
Truly.
Well,
I think it's like a shameless.
You did not earn that.
Or not shameless.
Put it down.
It's an embarrassing crime.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I look down on you as a criminal.
Yeah.
Bank heist, cooler. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna out myself as a hypocrite. Bank heist, a little cooler, okay? They make some movies about that. George Clooney might. Yeah, Chiefsaholic. Like, that's a crime where I'm like, well, listen, there was some thought that went into it. But this, no, you're just pathetic. You're a loser. All right, weekend recap. What's sticking with us coming up next?
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but like it, we had time kind of behind the scenes here. I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about, and the guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Yeah, I have a ton of really
family.
Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Go to everett3on3.net today and sign up your team. That's everett3on3.net. A special thank you to event major sponsors Amazon, City of Everett, Snohomish County TPA, and Tulalip Resort Casino.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Big NCAA news coming up in 15 minutes. We're going to be joined also by ESPN senior writer Dan Wetzel before we get to any of that. A weekend recap. Just talk about what's sticking with you this weekend, the thing that you're still going into the week going, man, I can't believe. Either you can't believe that, you can't wait for maybe another game in a series. Maybe there's a storyline from the weekend, something that just bothered you. It's just kind of like the equivalent of on Friday when we look back at some of our favorite things. This is our way of like, hey, now we're looking ahead to the weekend. It's Monday. We're heading into a new week, and we got some stuff that's sticking with us. Bump, weekend recap. What's sticking with you from the weekend?
I got a little one first, and I'll go a big one.
Okay.
Little one, Juliana Pena lost her belt. She's a Washington fighter. She at the UFC event, so that was disappointing because she's from the state of Washington. She lost her championship belt. So that's the little one. The big one is the craziness that I saw while watching the NBA Finals. When I was growing up, because I watched many finals with my teams in the finals, I'm used to it. My Lakers won 5 since I've been watching them. And there was something that was always common, is that you had the big Larry O'Brien trophy in the middle of the court. You got the finals patches on the shoulder. And I almost didn't notice it until I heard people chatting about it. I go, you're right. Something doesn't feel right about this game. What's going on? And there's no presentation. They didn't make it a grand type of thing. And then just to sass us, they throw two little trophies on both ends of the court.
Insult to injury.
And I'm like, come on, man. If y'all going to do it, you're going to do it right, or just don't do it at all and take all the heat that you are getting for not making it grand. This is the NBA Finals. I think of Jordan. I think of the Lakers. I think of the Spurs. I think of LeBron. And it just felt grand. The presentation was half of the battle, and the presentation just wasn't great. So just keep the trophies off the court now, because that seemed cheap.
I have a real question. I don't know if either of you know the answer. Maybe a listener knows the answer. Who's responsible for this type of production? Is it just the network that has the rights to broadcast the finals? Is it on the NBA? Whose responsibility is it to make sure the presentation of this is this is a championship?
Well, you sell advertisement spots, right? That's where it's getting all jacked up, because they've sold so many pieces of the court to advertisement that they don't want to, this is my assumption at least, they don't want to dilute it with the Larry O'Brien trophy, because YouTube TV paid so much money to get their logos
There's
here.
so many YouTube TV ads on the court.
It's crazy.
And on the scorer's table. It's ridiculous. We're all aware of what YouTube is. It's one of the most popular websites in the world.
Oh, that's really lame. I was wondering that because I was thinking, is there a reason? Surely it's not budgetary. So what's the reason?
It's just to make an extra buck.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it planning? Is it poor planning? Is it prioritizing something else? Okay, then in that case, if it's making room for more sponsors and making room for more ad space to sell, that's lame.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not about the bottom dollar. That take isn't about the bottom dollar, and ignores that part of the goal for all of these leagues is to make money and grow, if not the primary goal. It still takes away from the pomp and circumstance of a championship.
Yeah.
Which should be there. You should be feeling like you're watching a monumental series.
You know who does a great job of presentation is those Champions League soccer tournaments and World Cup or whatnot. And I know it's not the World Cup or anything, but before the game, you feel it. This is a championship type of game. During the game, you feel it, and you have more opportunities in basketball just because you're playing on a court where you can just stick logos out there. No, that was disappointing, because these players deserve to have the same type of presentation that we've had for so long in the NBA, and they've done such a good job over the past 30 years when it comes to that. They dropped the ball on this one though.
Yeah.
One good.
Curtis, what do you got? What's sticking with you from this weekend?
I'm echo everything the Bump said about the.
It just doesn't feel like a hugely important series.
They don't even broadcast the national anthem. They don't broadcast the starting lineups. They don't do anything like that anymore.
That's what I don't get then.
Yeah.
How does that get in the way of ad space?
It doesn't. You can put more ad space in. The starting lineups presented by.
Now that is a poor planning and poor foresight, and whoever's in charge of this isn't thinking this through. That's what that is.
You know what happened? I bet you there was a change in the executive producer or something like that. Whoever controls this, there's probably a change.
To a 23-year-old?
And they just missed it. They missed it all, man. Do better. You have a chance to get it right, too. You had a couple days to try to fix this thing. You can get it right by Wednesday.
What would you change if you could change one thing? Where you're this would add to the experience?
Put the big logo in the middle of the dang court.
Okay.
Put the patch on the jersey.
Yeah.
Change all that. Starting lineups. Let's get hype for this. There's no pre-game excitement. It's just, here's tip-off. Let's get it. On a regular basketball court that you played on every single day for the last 100 days. It's real basic out there.
Curtis, yours would be getting those lineups broadcasted.
Yeah, that would be the big change that I would make if I were producing the NBA Finals. What's sticking with me from this weekend, the other final going on right now, Panthers-Oilers, 2 overtime games to start off the series. Game 2 ending like this with Brad Marchand with game 1.
Ahead for Marchand, moving in on Skinner. Marchand is in, he scores! Marchand wins game 2 for the Panthers in
last year's Cup final went 7 games. You had Florida getting off to that 3-0 start, Edmonton forcing a Game 7. It was kind of like, how could you top this?
Yeah.
And so far, 2 overtime games to start the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, Connor McDavid's being Connor McDavid. Florida has so much talent on their roster. Off to a flying start. Game 3, I think, is tonight. So I'm excited for that.
It's really a shame that the Kraken haven't been better. On the one hand, you understand the context of an expansion team typically having a really hard time and Vegas breaking that mold, then the team rebounding and not giving Seattle those same opportunities. Sure, that's important context. On the other hand, they've done a bit of this to themselves. So it's frustrating to know that they haven't been able to build up a fan base that is super. There is a really knowledgeable, excited hockey fan base in Seattle. There's also a big chunk of the population to which the Kraken have missed out on an opportunity to get them as part of that fan base, because I think that you'd see so many more eyes here in Seattle on the Stanley Cup Finals, so many more. You know what I mean? It's like the Seahawks don't have to make the playoffs every single year for you to get really into the NFL and to get into the playoffs. These are drastically different situations, different leagues, and I understand that. There are always more eyes on the NFL. But I think it's kind of a bummer because the hockey guests we have on, John Buccigross, a number of other names, are always so excited to hear about new fans. And there's a big pool of potential new fans in Seattle that just haven't been turned on to that yet.
Lane Lambert, you got to get this squad right, man. Get the squad right. Come on now.
Okay.
Apparently they're closer than what we think, so let's see if Lane could help in that situation.
Mine, what's sticking with me is a little repetitive from the Open, but the reason I got so fired up about a text that we had in about why don't you guys blame Julio is a conversation. Let's have a conversation about discourse, guys. When Julio got hurt and was being helped out of the game, there were some comments that were disappointing of, I think, people being like, not good riddance. No one's wishing Julio gets hurt. There's no one that stupid. But once again, of kind of having him shoulder the blame for offensive woes. And I'm getting just tired of like Julio discourse in general. It's exhausting. It really is. Like, I don't think it needs to be that complicated. Julio is a tremendously talented player who gets off to frustratingly slow starts, who struggles with decision-making at the plate, and because of that hasn't been able to be as good as his talents would indicate. He is not the thing sinking this team. And I think that both of those things can be true. And I get so tired when a very simple conversation is overcomplicated.
Yeah, I think that naturally people look to place blame. I think that's something that humans do, right? Something's wrong. What's the reason? Who can we point to kind of take the responsibility for that? I understand that. And I understand people wanting Julio to play better and get off to a better start, even though he started the best he's ever had in his career. But we also got to look at this for what it is, which is a team sport. Is Julio performing like the way you want him to, like that one August when he was tearing things up? Nah, he ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Is it okay for us to want him to drive in more runs, to hit more bombs, to steal more bases? Yeah, most definitely. But to sit there and look at him and say, well, it's all his fault. He's not living up to his contract. You're just absolutely false. Technically, he is living up to his contract. All right, we just expect more. And he's not hitting 1 through 9. And do we just ignore what he's done defensively as well? You know, he's been solid as heck defensively.
He's been the best defensive center.
Yeah, it's been good. Can we want more? Yes. But this is a team sport, man. So when you hear Mastrobuoni, Solano, Demo, Williamson, Cole, everybody needs some of this because it's a team sport. So I'm with that. Well, before we get out, you got one more? Before we get out real quick, Big Us Coco Golf winning the French Open. That was huge. I
had at least one other person texting in the French Open on the text line as well. As something sticking with them. All right. The 2025 MLB All-Star ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26th at MLB.com/vote. What's been called the most important decision in the NCAA since Title IX. We'll explain what you need to know next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
You know, when Cal comes into work, I mean, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload, but I mean, he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last.
Dan, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Some massive changes, a massive change, I guess, to college sports is beginning now thanks to a brand new settlement. And we're going to bring on ESPN senior writer Dan Wetzel. So as we talk here, and we are naturally going to veer into a conversation about how NIL deals and money in sports for athletes has maybe changed college sports, things we'd like to change. So this is going to be I'm sure, a conversation that goes off the rails as we talk about what we like and don't like about college sports right now. But we're going to zero in on this settlement and what it means coming up at 11 with ESPN senior writer Dan Wetzel. If you guys have questions for Dan about this settlement, about what it might mean for your school, maybe you're a Husky, a Coug, a Bulldog, whatever, anyone, and you're like, hey, what does this mean for this school? What does it mean for a school in this conference here, whatever? You can send those questions in 866-979-3776. First, let's tell you what's going on. So the House vs. NCAA settlement is an ending to 3 separate antitrust lawsuits. What you need to know now, the only thing you need to know, is that schools are now free to begin paying athletes directly. So this is a monumental shift in college sports. This isn't just, hey, we are going to allow players and not us, but we're going to allow players to own their names, images, and likeness, and they can make money from it. This is now, we're going to have the ability to pay athletes, rather programs, directly from our coffers, from our ticket sales, merchandise, media rights deals, whatever. This is money the schools have. And we are going to decide how to dole this out to our athletes. And it's about, what is it, $20.5 million per school. So first bump, general reaction to this, and then we are going to happily go off the rails and just talk about where college sports is going, what we like and don't like, some questions we have.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think that it allows schools like Wazoo, to be more in the fight. You're never going to be completely in it because you just don't have the resources, the funds, and all that stuff as these other schools. But at least everyone has the same starting point, and you're going to be able to go out and buy yourself some players. It's a good start, but it's all about the collectives. The collectives are the group of people who donate to this group, and they call it the collective, and they put money in the pot. Now, that money is still out there. With Texas Tech, for example, they had $50 million in that collective pot. So now you got the extra 20 from the school, plus their 50, they're working with $70 million. You see where the disadvantage is. You look at their softball team, they lost to Texas in the final this year. But before that, they had never won a conference championship. They had never hosted a super regional. They had never been into the final. In 1 year, they built a team that is competitive enough to try to win a championship. It's not going to be like that for most schools. No. And we're going to look at the Texas schools who are going to have a lot of support because we know what type of money's down there, that oil money. And they're going to be able to whip some teams up and have that extra $20 million, which is cool. But it does help a school like Wazoo. It helps like Akron or Tulsa or some schools like that who are on that lower level. But now you're able to get that higher caliber player and not just having to recruit in the transfer portal or just beg a 3-star and give them $1 million to come to your school. So it's cool. I think it's a move in the right direction. And every year the cap is going to go up. It's like a fake salary cap, right? It's going to go up. Maybe it's $25 million next year and $30 the next year. yes, it's a good move. But those schools with deep pockets and alumni who are dedicated and care about the university are still going to have the advantage.
I'm wondering what it means for schools who, you like with A&M, you pointed out, like you're going to have schools that have a ton of money from alumni organizations that have been used for NIL stuff. And then that are also going to have deep pockets from their own deals.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what it means for a school that maybe has struggled to get that booster money, but who objectively is going to have deep pockets from their own reserves. Like I'm selfishly wondering about a school like Washington, where it's like one of the complaints I always hear is like, yeah, Washington come up with their own NIL stuff and their NIL collective, but like they don't have the booster money or the investment from rich alum that some other programs do.
Which is crazy to me.
Which is crazy, but that's been one complaint I've always heard about Washington, right? Is like, you guys have, or even some other formerly Pac-12 schools, like you guys have some rich alum, then you just can't pool the money that some of these other programs do. But you're a school that is still going to make money internally because you're a traditional Power 5. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if who is this good news for? That's what I'm wondering. Like, we know it's good news for schools that already have money to play.
Yeah, it's good for the little
Who
homies.
else is it good news
It's good for the little homies.
Yeah.
The dudes who don't have. I don't know how much is in the collective. Like, so what? Last month, I co-emceed 3 fundraising events, right, for WSU to put in the collective. And we made stops in. We had Bellevue, then we had Tri-Cities and Spokane. And you're auctioning things off. And I want to say this rough numbers, right? Maybe you made like $250,000 at one stop, maybe $300,000 at the other spot, and say another $200,000 at one spot. That's still not even $1 million, right? So those are the type of situations where these the schools are going to benefit the most. The ones who can't go to an auction. I guarantee there are schools that have auctions out there right now to help their collective to put in that pot that are going to pull in easy a couple of $1 million. And that's on the low end. There are schools that I've heard have made like $4 or $5 million to put into that pot. So it helps the school like Washington State. It helps a school like Tulsa and Akron, those schools that I mentioned, that have some support. It's not like the alumni are just standing by not doing anything, but they don't have the same amount of support.
For clarification, are funds that are made available to schools via public grants and taxes being used for this, or is this booster only money? Because one is okay and the other isn't. Neither. So the booster stuff, or what would be like a third party directly to athletes, that's kind of like orchestrated by the school, is the NIL stuff. This would be money in the athletic program budget. So this is your ticket sales.
Yeah.
Your media rights.
Your jerseys.
Your jersey. So this is money that is being generated by consumers that you previously were not allowed to give directly to athletes. You know, obviously that money is going to the school as a whole, the athletic program as a whole. But for the first time, it's, hey, here's the equivalent of NIL money that we're giving you.
They're giving
so
you
this
a little,
is not like
kickstart.
Yeah, this isn't like, oh, taxpayer dollars.
No.
Like, this is money they're generating from sales.
Yeah, money generated.
Or public grants. That's not what this is.
From the athletes.
Unless there's something that's totally over my head.
No, you're good.
That's
it.
Someone else has what I feel is really common sentiment saying, with this ruling and NIL, we have a lesser quality professional league. I'm out.
A lesser what?
Well, I think that's how a lot of people feel about college sports, is they feel like this isn't the college sport that I grew up watching.
It's not.
I'm just out.
It's a pro. It's not even semi-pro. It's like a lower division of professional sports. That's exactly what it is, and that's how it's going to be for the rest of time.
Yeah. Let's ask Dan Wetzel about this, ESPN senior writer. He joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
You know, when Cal comes into work, I mean, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload, but I mean, he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last.
Dan, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Go to everett3on3.net today and sign up your team. That's everett3on3.net. A special thank you to event major sponsors Amazon, City of Everett, Snohomish County TPA, and Tulalip Resort Casino.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
OKC even the series against the Pacers yesterday thanks to SGA's 34-point performance. Game 3 Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Former Browns Pro Bowler Nick Chubb has found a new home. He's expected to sign a one-year deal with the Houston Texans.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Major changes to college sports. ESPN senior writer Dan Wetzel joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Dan, how's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you taking the time. We got a couple questions for you as well as some listener questions about this. I'll start with this one. Just kind of a primer, and obviously everyone can find Dan's column, ESPN.com right now to go read up on this and all the changes that might be coming. But can you just put into context how big this decision is?
Well, look, in the column, yeah, or not. Well, it's big. It's just not final, but it's part of a big step. But in the column over in ESPN, like Alabama athletic director Greg Byrne, obviously top of his business in 30 years or so in college sports. He said, the three biggest moments in college athletics were the foundation of the NCAA in 1905, Title IX in 1972, and then this. So this is truly the death of amateurism. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty notable. I mean, the schools are going to directly pay at least some of their athletes from ticket sales and television deals and all of that, something that, even the IOC gave up in the Olympics in the mid-'80s. So it's been, lasted another 40 years after that, 35 years after that. So that is a big, big day. It's just this isn't the final step. We don't know if anyone's really going to start following these rules. Generations of college athletics has shown us that boosters and coaches will do anything to circumvent the rules to get more talent. They will, how will NIL deals? Can this maintain court challenges? Can it maintain political challenges if teams are getting cut? There's so much still to be determined in the House settlement, but it's a plan they have put forth, and it is a big moment, but I just don't think it's a final moment that's not going to deal with a lot of unrest.
Will schools benefit the most from this situation?
So that's interesting. Generally the what they called the wild west of unregulated NIL really helped actually spread talent out at the elite level. Certainly in football, if you go back a few years, it was really only you'd go into a season and it was basically Georgia, Alabama, and maybe Ohio State or Clemson or something that had a chance to win it. Now you have a lot more teams that are involved. So it's possible that by eliminating or trying to eliminate the ability of boosters to just dole out what they want on certain players, you could have sort of a regression and bring in the talent back to just a few places. But we'll see. One interesting one would be in college basketball would be schools without a football program. If you take, let's say Gonzaga, right? Gonzaga doesn't have football. Gonzaga can spend up to $20.5 million on their athletes. University of Washington is going to do that, but they're going to spend probably 17 or 18 million of that, 16, 17 million on football. Well, if you don't have to do that, you could spend, 16, 17 million on your basketball roster legally. You would have a huge advantage. Now, the difference is the Gonzaga athletic department, a $20 million outlay for a smaller school, and most of the basketball schools are smaller in nature. Certainly the Big East, St. John's, Villanova, those places. But could you have boosters fill that gap? That you have one booster that says, "Hey, I'll write that check, $20 million a year," and then you can legally take the $20 million and buy basketball players, right? And the other schools out there would not have that money. They may only have $2 or $3 million allocated for their basketball program. So something like that could be kind of a quirk. A hockey, you could see that. Some different sports where a certain school just wants to get really good at one thing. But for the most part, each school's got $20 million. If you have a full athletic department, including football, you have to put that money into football and men's basketball because those are the only sports that return on investment and generate a profit that you can then spend that money to have volleyball and softball and soccer and all the other sports. So there's a lot of different competitive things if this thing holds that you try to find out. Now, look, if let's say the Big East and Gonzaga and a couple other schools are spending $15 million on their basketball roster, do we really believe that Big Ten and SEC schools will just sit back and go, oh, sorry, we're no longer competitive? Or will their boosters find a workaround to meet that bit? And that's what I would expect to happen. We've never seen college athletics where everyone's like, I guess I just can't bid on that player, right? We've had generations of these things. So there's just so much unknown right now. But that's kind of an interesting quirk that might work out.
That might have all answered my next question. I was reading part of your column that talked about Alabama in particular, where their women's hoops program is operating in a pretty massive deficit. And then obviously like men's college football and basketball are not. And I know that that's going to be the case at most schools. Are there, in your mind, any like Title IX type challenges with what might happen? Or is this in kind of its own pool or its own separate issue?
Well, we'll see. I think there's going to be lawsuits on it. The belief amongst the college sports leadership that's done this is that it does not violate Title IX because Title IX says you have to provide the same opportunity for athletes. You can't exclude opportunity based on gender, and the opportunity would be we have a spot on the team. It doesn't say you have to pay the same. So that's sort of how they feel that it'll go down, that this will be allowable in compliance with Title IX. A court may see differently on that, but at this point, it's not okay. You have $20 million to spend. $10 million's got to be on female athletes. $10 million on male athletes. That is not how it's going to be. It's going to be overwhelmingly on male athletes. And I think if you read the article about in Alabama, which is pretty obviously a very, very big athletic department, they have 21 sports that they're trying to fund, and they can fund it out of two sports, football and men's basketball, mostly football. So the survival of the other sports, in a large part, exists because of the money made by these two sports. Now, so college athletics has spent for years and built up budgets and teams and facilities and support staff with the idea that they don't have to share the revenue with the athletes. Now they do. And that revenue share could be anywhere from 8 to 14, 20, 30% of your existing budget. So it's a huge gap that schools, even big ones like Alabama, are sitting there saying, where do I get $20 million? It's not that easy. There's not an infinite amount of dollars out here. So everybody is struggling to try to find, how do we maintain as much money as we can, fund as many teams as we can? But there's a pretty good chance that some of these teams, smaller programs, may get cut.
We've seen the Texas schools just thrive in this environment, right? We got Texas Tech, who put together a great softball team. They made it to the championship. SMU put together a football team. Texas A&M has one of the bigger NILs. Is this a trend? Do you think that a lot of the talent, when it comes to especially the major sports, are just going to gravitate towards Texas because their boosters and alum have the most money?
Well, I think money obviously is a big advantage in anyone trying to acquire talent in the private sector. Whatever company's paying the most, you're going to get people. You talk to your friend and he says, I think I'm switching jobs. Why? Oh, they'll pay me 20% more money. Okay, makes sense, right? So any school can do that. It's really about getting your boosters to care. There's plenty of money in Seattle, right? Like, I don't think anyone's sitting back saying, oh, poor money, no money here or no money there or whatever. There's a lot of money all over, but it is about how excited one or two boosters can be. It can be a billionaire that sits there and says, yeah, I'll throw 20 million down. The whole thing is about, and this is really the problem with, I think, the inherent problem they're going to have with this House settlement is, the basic premise is your value is whatever someone will pay for it, or anything's value is for whatever someone is willing to pay for it, whether it's your salary, your house, a piece of art, whatever, a collectible. What's the value of it? Well, for a Texas Tech booster, it could be worth millions of dollars to spend just to win a softball championship. Other people would look and say, I wouldn't give $5 for that. I don't care, right? Or it's ditto for football or basketball or anything else, unless you're using softball. But for Texas Tech, they said, hey, we want the best pitcher. We're going to pay her $1 million. How do you say that there's something wrong with that? How don't you have the right to make that $1 million if you're a softball pitcher just because no one else made it before? So that's why I think the legal challenges of this are going to be pretty significant. And even if you believe in these rules, even if you want quote unquote guardrails and all this stuff, and you didn't like what was going on, it's a pretty compelling argument where you say, how do you deny someone the money that one person wants to do? Because what they're trying to do with this House settlement is say, we're going to determine, we have an algorithm that's going to tell you how much your actual value as your name, image, and likeness is worth. I just don't know how you can possibly determine that, and I don't even know how this algorithm would work. You could also take an argument like Caitlin Clark. Like, what was Caitlin Clark worth at the University of Iowa? Well, an algorithm might look and say, hey, she's a All-American basketball player. She's really good. She's worth X. And you go, she's not that. She's the most marketable athlete in the country. She's worth 10X, right? And so how do they determine that is a huge thing that's going to get figured out.
I'm glad you mentioned Caitlin Clark, because when I think of the product itself, or rather the stars or the individual games or championships that I'm seeing from college sports, there are still lots of things that I've loved, storylines, athletes, championship games, what have you, series that I've really enjoyed watching. But one of the biggest complaints I've heard about just the shift in college sports, Dan, and it's one I'm sure you get every single time you put out an article, is people saying college sports has changed and I'm just done. And I guess I wanted to ask you a big picture question, and bear with me, I'm trying to figure out how to frame it. I wanted to ask you just about what's actually different. What's fundamentally different about college sports? Because there's never been true parity, and there's always been unfair advantages. And there were always the power teams and the haves and the have-nots. Like, that doesn't feel different than when I was in school and none of this existed. So when you look at it, is there a heart that's missing? Is there something that's fundamentally changed? Or is it just money is more obvious? What do you see?
Money is more obvious. I think that's, I mean, look, there's been under the table payments forever.
Yeah.
Like generations and generations. So, people, they call, this is the Wild West. This is crazy. We have to do something. It was like 6-7 years ago, we had an FBI scandal where 10 people in college basketball were arrested and indicted and, convicted of crimes of paying athletes or, whatever, getting money to athletes. Like, that seems pretty wild. That seemed pretty Wild West to me.
Yeah.
So this stuff's always gone on. I think there's a couple of things that have happened. A lot happened at once. To me, the bigger ones that really rattle people are conference realignment, and I kind of feel that's like the original sin here, is like that changed things, right? University of Washington is playing, they'll play a conference game against Rutgers. Like, that's not what I'm used to. And, what happened to Wazoo and what happened to Oregon State? Like, that stuff, I think, is the real change as these schools chased money. And this is why they have such little moral ground to stand on.
Yeah.
Is, and the other is the transfer portal, which just moved player movement so fast. And people don't like that. But the same thing, schools literally put their entire athletic department in the transfer portal. They just switch conferences in one night. They'd sit there and go, let's do it. Let's just go to the Big East. Let's go, or Big Ten, or let's just go to the ACC. Whatever they were doing. That stuff, I think, has been huge changes, and I get it. It's a lot happening at once. But one of the problems with college athletics is they held the line so firmly, right? They fought. One of the reasons we have the House settlement, one of the reasons we have the O'Bannon case, was they sat there and tried to argue that if Caitlin Clark is playing at the University of Iowa, and Caitlin Clark is so popular that State Farm comes along and says, we want her in our commercials, that this would fundamentally ruin college athletics and people would stop watching. They made that argument at the Supreme Court, that it would be fundamentally, college athletics would not exist if someone such as Caitlin, no Caitlin Clark's name, but if Caitlin Clark is in a State Farm commercial, and what instead most of us argued, and what obviously you find out, is no, it became more popular because people saw Caitlin Clark in a State Farm commercial. It was the same thing the Olympics used to argue, and then he said, yeah, well, then we got the 92 Dream Team, and it was the biggest thing ever. It wasn't less pot. Nobody was like, I cannot stand this Michael Phelps. He's in commercials, right? It didn't happen. And so they had such bad arguments for so long. And this is a bit of like, they have an old phrase, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. The NCAA's just gotten slaughtered because they didn't know when to just kind of let up and be like, yeah, this is great. Wow, this is cool. Let her have a Nike commercial. Let them do this. Let this guy do that. If someone wants to pay a softball pitcher $1 million, wow, that's awesome. Good for you. Instead of just saying oh my God, it's an existential threat to everything. So I think it's understandable that fans are struggling with it. We've not seen any indication in ratings, attendance, anything that they actually are. The ones that are done, there haven't been too many. They don't seem done because the stadiums are full and the ratings are better than ever and everything's bigger. So it's just there's a lot of change here. They're trying to walk it back as much as they can. I just don't know if it's actually gonna happen.
How the spoils of the NCAA settlement will be divided. Dan Wetzel's latest column up on ESPN right now. He is Dan Wetzel. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks. Take care.
Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, do you think the Hawks should go after Jair Alexander?
Here's what I love about him. When he's healthy, he's one of the better corners in the game.
Yeah.
7 years he's played, but only a few times he's played a full season. When he has played those full seasons, he's been all-pro. He's been a Pro Bowl type of dude, 12 total interceptions throughout the year. If you were to go after an Alexander, what that doesn't force you to play someone like Josh Jobe. Nothing against Jobe, but, when you have an opportunity to get Alexander, you're looking at him. And what it does is it allows to Spoon to play more of the nickel if that's what they want him to do. You can still move Nick and Mawari all around and do their things. But with Alexander, you need to have an insurance policy because history says he's probably going to get banged up. He's probably not going to play the whole season. What if he does? What if he taps into something that we haven't seen consistently and you do play the full season? It's all about getting the personnel that you need defensively, and he would absolutely enhance his personnel. The only way I'm going after Alexander if it's on a team-friendly type of deal. I believe the Packers have to absorb like $24 million for a dead cap. They're going to pay him around $18 million there. The best corners in the game are getting around $30 million, $25 to $30 million a year. No, he's not worth that. I think that if you can get him down around to 10 or 11 on a 1 year, 2 year type of deal, kind of prove it, yeah, you go after him. Because I feel like if he were to get banged up, Josh Jobe has done enough to let you know, look, you're going to be serviceable out there. He did have an interception last year, had some good moments, played some good defense. But, yeah, I would definitely take a look at him. But here's the thing. Other teams are going to be going after him, too. The Rams, the Niners, the Eagles, the Dolphins are looking to get rid of Jalen Ramsey. There are other teams that are going to be in the mix, but I definitely go after him.
Second down. ESPN's Brady Henderson said letting Geno go for Sam Darnold was a lateral move. Do you agree? And how is a lateral move, is a lateral move good enough to win?
This is an interesting one, man. I was listening to Brady when he had that interview and said that, and it feels like it is a lateral move. It feels like Geno is a better thrower of the football. He has more experience, but you see the potential in Sam Darnold. So was it a lateral move? I think potentially it could be a lateral move. Is it good enough to win? It's only good enough to win if the defense is top 10. If the defense is top 10, then I think that you could run it back with Geno. You could bring in a Sam Darnold who's going to throw 12, 13 interceptions, hopefully 25 plus touchdowns, and you could be just fine. It's really contingent on the defense, man. And we were out there last week, saw the offense get rolling. I was on the morning show, Brock and Salk show this morning, and Salk asked me, do you need another weapon outside when it comes to receivers? Because people are saying that receivers aren't getting open, it doesn't look smooth. I would say you're not going to know exactly what you need until you get in training camp for real, because this offense is predicated on the run and the play action. And when you don't have pads on, you can't necessarily do that. But if you look at the route combinations and the spacing and all that, you see the potential. Personally, no, I don't think they need another receiver. I think your top 3 are good. I think your backups are solid as well. If you stumble across one, so be it. But yeah, a lateral move could be good enough if the defense is top 10.
Third down. What do you know about the Aaron Rodgers contract?
It was exactly what we thought it was. His agent, unless he's just talking, said the contract has been sitting on the table for weeks now. Like, we knew what exactly he was going to get, right? Exactly. Aaron Rodgers isn't sitting around and guessing every day what's going to happen. I don't believe he moves like that. So he has the potential to get around $13 million this year, 20 if you go to the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. And it's a heck of a deal for these guys because we know what his true potential is, Aaron Rodgers, if he plays his best football. I'm not talking about 2016, 17. The man is 41 years of age. We have to taper our expectations. He's getting paid less than Justin Fields right now. So what do we know about the contract? It's less than Justin Fields. It could reach to around $20 million for the year, and it's been on the table for a while. So this whole time, he's listening to us talk about where he's going to be. And he goes, yeah, I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be with the Steelers. You guys just keep talking about me.
4th down. Bengals' best defensive player is not happy in Cincinnati. Should Trey Hendrickson be a target for the Seahawks?
I've been asked this question a few times, and I've gone back and forth because there's no denying who Trey Hendrickson is. Right? He's a guy who got, 12-plus sacks last year. He's 30 years of age. He is probably the only real good piece on that Cincinnati Bengals defense. But now I watch his film, and I try to put him in this Mike Macdonald defense. He runs a 3-4, Mike Macdonald here. So that means 3 down linemen. You got 4 backers. Your outside backers are usually your edge rushers are walking down to the line of scrimmage or dropping into the flat and all that stuff. And you're in a 2-point stance. Where would he fit? Because I've watched this game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and he rarely moves inside to like the 3-tech or whatnot because they run a 4-3 over there. He's a true end when it comes to his position. Could he help this team? Probably, but I just don't know if he has the versatility to go in and out. He probably does, and I'm sure if I watch more game, I might see that. But for the games that I did watch, he's on the end. And how does that work in this defense? I'm not quite sure. Sometimes you just get a guy because of talent, and you make it work. But if we're talking about fit, if I'm Trey Hendrickson, I'm looking at a place that runs a similar defense than I was with the Cincinnati Bengals. So the feels are right. The language is almost the same. Yeah, I would take a look at him, but I'm not so sure that you just plug him in here and he has the same success.
The text line has a spicy bonus 5th down. Okay. It's called a 2-point attempt, if you will. Your 3rd down, or excuse me, your 2nd down was, hey, Brady Henderson said that letting Geno go for Sam Darnold was a lateral move. Do you agree? They said, what if you apply that to wide receivers? Was moving on from Tyler and DK and then bringing in Coop and MVS also a lateral move, a downgrade, or an upgrade?
That is a great question.
Should we explore it a little bit later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think we do have an open segment. Hey, listener, I'm going to move that to 11:45. We'll revisit the idea, kind of intro, like, hey, is the quarterback move lateral, an upgrade, a downgrade? That's the primary thing. Plenty of people were opining about whether or not it was an upgrade or a downgrade on the text line. But then let's explore some other position groups that had some pretty massive makeovers this offseason. We'll find out whether they were lateral moves. And by the way, I think that we can all agree that, like, the offensive line has an upgrade at guard. So sometimes an upgrade somewhere else makes even a downgrade elsewhere okay. You know?
Maybe.
It's fine.
I hope so.
Now you're really thinking about it. Now you're wondering, like, oh, God, what if it wasn't a lateral move? All right, timeline coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino, man. Take an easy drive up I-5, get off on exit 260, and you'll find a place to get away and recharge. That is Silver Reef Casino. They have comfortable rooms. They're spacious, free Wi-Fi, and some of them have great views. They got restaurants as well. They got the steakhouse. They got the cantina. And if you want to watch some sports, go to Portis Bay Sports Bar, have yourself a drink, and chill for a little bit before you get ready for your round the next day or that day at Loomis Trails Golf Course. 18 holes with water everywhere. Be patient, have fun, and enjoy the day. All this month, every Saturday, you can win up to $5,000 as well. They got some great promos. Also, some events coming up. You got Howie Mandel. You got Desperado. They're the Eagles tribute band. You got Neil McCoy. All of that is just for you. Book your tickets at silverreefcasino.com. They got something for everybody. Silver Reef Casino. It's not a secret anymore. Go up I-5, exit 260. Go check them out.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new insulation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues, they took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Smoked paprika in your go-to goulash? Let's go goulash. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion and provide better access to SeaTac. Open soon, free through summer.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Rally Auto Sales reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Text behind the wheel or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Doyle Guffey's Rally Auto Sales. Family owned and proudly serving the Puget Sound area since 1978. Online at rallyauto.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Is it competitiveness or bad sportsmanship? That's our latest entry. After losing the French Open final, our first story here, Aryna Sabalenka was not going to give Coco Gauff any credit for her performance.
In the past 2 weeks, I played really tough matches, really incredible players, and I played definitely better level than in the final. It was really, honestly, the worst tennis I played in the last, I don't know how many months. And the conditions were terrible, and she simply was better in these conditions than me. And I think it was the worst final I ever played. I think today I didn't really handle myself quite well, mentally, I would say. So basically that's it. I was just making unforced errors. Like, I don't know, I have to check the statistics. I think she won the match not because she played incredible, just because I made all of those mistakes from, like, if you look from the outside, kind of like from an easy balls.
Now, Bump, up until the last 10 seconds, I'd say very normal. I've heard 1,000,005 post-game quotes, comments from athletes and coaches, and rarely are they going to be, though they might be like, hats off to them, but then it's all about being self-critical and finding errors that you made. It's not that she played incredible. I gave that to her.
This is what I think, too. I'm going to give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
And say that English being her second or third language probably doesn't help the situation either, right? Because sometimes you're not able to articulate things exactly the way that you want to. But I watched the whole interview. I kind of felt her vibe, and she was almost like, I'm just so much better than her. She got lucky today.
And I can't blame anyone
And
for
sometimes
thinking that.
it be like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you beat teams you're not supposed to beat. Sometimes you lose against teams you're not supposed to lose against. That's the beauty of sports. You have to play the game. You have to play the match. So if I'm Coco, I'm not even tripping off of this. And if I'm Sabalenka, maybe if you want to, you can learn from this. But I think it's English as a second or third language, and I think that she's frustrated. She's the number one tennis player in the world, right? If she wasn't low-key arrogant and extremely confident, she wouldn't be that. I got no problems with what she said.
Do you think people are still a little surprised when they sense arrogance from athletes? Or I should say a little more surprised than they should be? Because I think athletes, coaches, front office, it doesn't matter who it is. You have to be arrogant in a sport that's built on competition.
I get some people who just don't understand it, probably don't operate in an environment where it is so cutthroat and it's performance-based, and because it's physical, there's a bunch of posturing and challenging going on. They don't understand that this is part of the game. You think of you're the nicest athlete in the world, whoever you consider the nicest athlete in the world, he got or she got some you-know-what to her or him and be feeling themselves, and you have to move that way. So, there's some people who go a bit overboard at times, but this is in their DNA.
Remember when you and Curtis, our next story here, lost your minds when college football was coming back with a new 2026 edition of the video game?
We still haven't regained our minds.
That's true. It's
pretty awesome.
Still lost. You're still looking for it. This just in, tied to this story, all royalties for players and EA Sports College Football 26 will be determined by which schools get played with the most.
Man, Wazoo, let's go, man. Come on.
Hit the sticks.
We got to hit them sticks. You know what you do? You do it like you're working from home
It's a grassroots
and just move the
organization.
screen so the company thinks you're working. Move the mouse. Like we got to do that. We got to come together and make sure we get our money.
Get Cougs out here, just like you go about your day, you know what I mean, but just keep the controller next to you, and
Just
once in a
log
while,
in
just in your Zoom
times.
meeting, reach over and just, it's going to be hard to compete with. So here's a question that I was thinking naturally, or like, is this also going to be dictated by obviously the best schools? I've never played college football, so this is not sports ignorance. This is video game ignorance, okay? I'm just letting you guys know I've never owned a PlayStation.
It's dictated by the best schools, but it's also dictated by the teams that are most fun to play with.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. Is like, which factor outside of just, this school's amazing, is going to factor in here?
I think that some smaller schools are going to get some big checks because people like building their dynasties from those smaller schools and creating them to beat the Alabama. It's no fun starting with the best team in the game and running a dynasty. So I think there's a chance that us little homies don't get it.
I think another one, Bump, the service academies, all running the triple option.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service and your NIL money.
Yeah. Okay, well, that rounds out the picture for me, because I was wondering, is it just going to be everyone going out playing, hey, I'm Ohio State, I'm Bama, or is it going to be some schools that
those
we
schools
aren't
will be
realizing?
fine. Like they'll get their money. They'll get their money.
Is there like one or two players that can dictate sometimes which school?
I mean, last year, like Ashton Genty with Boise State.
And Travis Hunter would as well.
Yeah.
There's no. Oh, what's that receiver from Ohio State, sophomore? This year?
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, he could drive some traffic too.
Okay. Wow, I feel like I learned so much more. It's too bad we don't have The Sims. Just a version of that. Building coasters. That's up my
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
yeah. I'm like, let's really talk about it, EA Sports. Let's get back in the game. Next up, Red Sox rookie Hunter Dobbins didn't make any friends on the Yankees ahead of their series this week. This was the quote that he had. Very original. You've never heard it. I've said it before, Hunter said, that if the Yankees were the last team to give me a contract, I'd retire. This was prior to his first career start against the Yanks. Now, unfortunately, Aaron Judge is on the Yankees, and he had a response.
This ball is smoked, and Aaron Judge has hurt a rookie again. Second deck for Judge, 108 miles an hour off the bat. Just like that, it's 2-0 New York. And Aaron Judge has his 22nd homer and 52nd and 3rd RBI.
Now, if you were thinking, well, surely Judge, he just hits bombs. It doesn't mean that he heard Hunter's comments. Oh, no.
I really didn't hear about it until I think Eduardo Perez. They told me before the game, but I've only heard King Griffey say that, so I was a little surprised.
Is that at all in your head after getting at that?
Well, once somebody tells you, yeah.
Yeah, once someone says that, I'm definitely thinking about it.
Hunter, my man, one, you stole the quote from Griffey.
Yeah, that's stolen valor.
Two, I don't know, young in your career. Something tells me you're probably not going to be a future Hall of Famer like Griffey. So you would play for any team that will take you. I think there's going to be a point, possibly. I don't follow the man so much. He's a 4.2 ERA. 37 Ks is 3-1. All right, basic stats there, 37 Ks. Something tells me you're going to move from team to team at some point in your career. And if the Yankees were the only team offering you a contract, my man, you're from Texas.
Yeah.
You ain't even from the East Coast like that. You're probably going to take that.
Yeah, your ERA really shouldn't be like a great GPA. That's kind of what you want to stay away from. No, and I mean, he's young enough that, and he grew up a Red Sox fan. This is important context. He grew up a diehard Boston fan. So he probably did grow up hating the Yankees. That's real. But you can't pretend that you invented this quote because every sports fan also knows that Griffey said that.
Listen, I grew up hating the Cowboys. Offer me a job with the right money. Go Cowboys. All right? Championship.
Doesn't matter
Let's
what
get
it is. It's just absolutely going to happen. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I guess credit to him for hating the Yankees. I can't hate someone who hates the Yankees. Next up, Tacoma Northwest Sports Card reported Dom Canzone will be getting called up by the Mariners today because he had to cancel an autograph signing he was scheduled to do with the shop later tonight. That's how you get ahead of reporting. That's how you get ahead of reporting.
Okay, all right. Here's the thing about Dominic. He's been balling down there in Tacoma, though. He has been balling. The thing with him is once he gets called up, he'll give you a game or two of great play, then he'll kind of disappear a little bit. But listen, they are trying to do some things within the organization, and we've seen guys get called up and sit down a bunch this year. Good job within the organization of giving guys chances. You got Williamson, you got Cole as well. Now Dominic is coming up. We know you'll do it inside. What will you do outside the organization to make this team better?
What's presumably the corresponding move there? Is it?
Might be an outfielder,
Leote?
or might be Tavares, might be Mastroboni. I'd
probably go Mastroboni
over Tavares.
I might go Tavares. Yeah. Maybe you try and sneak Tavares through on waivers, DFA him, get sent down to AAA, but because the Mariners had to assume Tavares' contract from the Rangers,
and that's no matter what, right?
Right.
Like that's just what you now pay.
Yeah. So based off of how bad he has played this season, I don't know if there'd be any takers for Tavares in the rest of the league. So maybe you sneak him through on waivers, but yeah, it's getting to a point where Canzone was hitting so well in AAA, you had to do something.
That's it. He was raking.
Seattle Times' Tim Booth, who has obviously been covering the Mariners, was at this series against the Angels, is going to join us. So we'll ask him, hey, what do you anticipate the corresponding move to be? Maybe we'll even see it before Tim joins us at noon, TBD, about 20 minutes from now. Coming up next, a listener earlier asked Bump, whether the Seahawks made a lateral move at wide receiver, whether they upgraded, downgraded, where's the room for growth, where are the fears? So we're going to explore that question. It's coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. Is I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. It's important for men to communicate about issues relating to their health, especially family health history. Prostate cancer has been in the news, and right now I'm joined by Dr. Landis from the Swedish Cancer Institute. Dr. Landis, how common is prostate cancer?
Prostate cancer is very common. About 1 in 8 men will develop prostate cancer here in the U.S. That ends up being about 300,000 cases per year.
How can men test for prostate cancer?
Well, first thing, patients should ask to have PSA screening from their primary care doc. Anyone 50 or over, and if you have a family history starting at 45 is pretty typical.
If diagnosed, why should patients seek out Swedish CyberKnife for treatment?
What we hear from patients all the time is that treatment really was amazing. They didn't have to take time off of work. The side effects are really minimal, and there was minimal interruption in their lives.
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Earlier in our show, during 4 Down Territory, you, Bump, answered a question, which was whether or not the Seahawks made a lateral move at quarterback. As part of that answer, someone said, hey, what if you apply the same thing to wide receiver, right? We're talking about where there was a lot of turnover on this roster. Quarterback's one spot, wide receiver is another. Gone are DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Here now are Cooper Kupp and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And then also still here is JSN and a number of other names, former draft picks, incoming rookies, what have you. Did the Seahawks make a lateral move at wide receiver?
It's a simple and complicated answer at the same time, because you got to look at, all right, who's replacing who? All right, so we're talking about DK. We're saying MVS is a guy who is replacing DK. DK has played in 97 games. MVS has played in 106 games. DK has about 200-plus more receptions than him. He has about 3,000 more yards than him. His average per reception is down at 14.4. MVS is at 17.4. DK has 48 touchdown receptions. MVS has 20. I guess those are the major ones. On paper, you're going to look at the stats and say you lost the better receiver in DK. But the reason why it's a simple answer and you say DK but complicated at the same time is now you have to look at, would DK be able to thrive in this offense? I think you put DK in any offense and he's going to put up numbers just because he's that talented of a football player. Yes, you can talk about his route running. Yes, you can talk about his hands. There's always something you can point out when it comes to a player's deficiencies. I think you put DK in this offense and he's good to go. I think MVS has the advantage in this offense because he understands the offense. But talent-wise, you didn't get better at the receiver spot. You got more knowledge at the receiver spot in this offense. DK is a more talented player. MVS understands this, so there wasn't an upgrade there. Like you lost in talent, but you won in knowledge of the game and
fit.
And he's a bigger, big play type receiver in this offense. 17.4 per reception. For DK's at 14.4. What'd you say? What?
Well, you were making me think that maybe they that you didn't make a literal kind of lateral move in that you replaced DK with someone who's just like DK. But if you upgraded maybe from Ryan Grubb, or upgraded maybe with your overall scheme or with your offensive line coaches or whatever, then maybe making a, quote, downgrade at, like, high-level talent is okay.
Here's what MVS can do better than DK in this offense is just working across the field. DK is good going across the field linear, right? So dig, 15 yards, boom, right across the field. A slant at a 45-degree angle. In this offense, right, and what I've seen so far on film and being out there in practice the other day, that you gotta work through. You gotta get through that second level, then stem up to the safety and flatten it out at a 25-degree angle and have a good feel of just working your way across the field. I think MVS does that better than DK. Now, when it comes to just getting big and going down the field and making a play, That's where DK comes in because of just his body, his stature. He's a bigger dude. I think MVS has better hands. I think DK has the better body, can shut off defenders. It's almost what you're asking them to do. Physically, you did not get better at the receiver spot when it comes to MVS. But as far as knowledge and feel, when it comes to this offense, you did. I think with DK, this offense would have been just fine, though. So it's like, it's such a tough question to answer because it's two totally different offenses, and I never got a chance to see DK in this type of offense. And now at Pittsburgh, that offense ain't going to look like this either. So it's going to be tough. You lose talent, you gain knowledge.
Here's what I'll say. The simplified argument when it comes to isolating, let's say, Cooper Kupp and DK Metcalf, which is what most people are doing when they're looking at whether or not you made a lateral move, is saying, well, Cooper Kupp is older. Cooper Kupp has dealt with injuries. Cooper Kupp has had one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a wide receiver, but that was in, 2019, 2021? I can't remember one of the two. And you haven't really seen that again, whereas DK has given you, like, consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Like, he'll give you 1,000 yards, 900 yards every single year.
See, I'm not even looking at DK and Kupp because I don't think they're replacing each other.
No.
I'm looking at Kupp and Lockett.
I don't either, but I think that when you look at a national audience, they're looking at what's the name. You got rid of DK, but now you have Cooper. So that's where I think it's being overly simplified. And my question was going to be, where does that argument miss the mark?
I think that it misses the mark just because of what type of player they are and what they're great at. There are things that DK does better than Cooper Kupp. Even though Cooper Kupp had a Triple Crown type of season and was unforgettable, and I was hoping he got that MVP, there are things that Cooper Kupp does better than DK. Cooper Kupp's attributes fits better with this offense than DK's does. So it's so hard just to look at two players and say, okay, which one is better, especially at the receiver spot because it's so contingent on a lot of things happening and you getting open and the quarterback getting you the football. Overall better receiver as far as running routes, catching the football, blocking, getting through the second level, finding space, it's Cooper Kupp. Better receiver when it comes to big play ability, more physical type of receiver in his route running, being able to go down the field and stretch the field, it's DK Metcalf. What type of receiver are you looking for? And you said it, Cooper Kupp's like 31, 32 years of age. All right, so I would have loved to have seen DK in this offense to see if he can adjust. There's a reason why they let him go. One, he wanted to get out of here. And two, maybe Kubiak's looking at his attributes and saying, actually, a different type of receiver works best here for me. Talent-wise, they did not get better at the receiver spot. Knowledge, true route running, understanding defenses. I mean, I think Seattle Sports has posted a reel of Cooper Kupp just explaining the defense and how it's changed and how he adjusts. You talk about that, that's invaluable because now everyone's getting that knowledge. So I think in both situations, in all situations, you lost talent, gained knowledge. In the Tyler Lockett situation, you lost knowledge, but you gained opportunity for JSN to grow and have more space, getting rid of both DK and Tyler Lockett. So it's a complicated answer.
Yeah.
Because there's more to it than just being able to catch the football.
I'm glad you mentioned you lost like peak athleticism or overall athleticism, but you gained knowledge. You also mentioned DK didn't want to be here, and that's the thing that's missing from a lot of this analysis that you see nationally, and it's not a knock on national reporters. It's that they have to write up 32 previews and write up quick little blurbs on teams, and it is more interesting to say that getting rid of Geno and DK is a gamble than it is to say moving on from two guys who didn't want to be here is kind of what you had to do.
Yeah.
You lost overall peak athleticism. You lost experience at quarterback with Geno. But you gained people who clearly want to be here. You and I talked with Cooper Kupp. This guy loves football, and this guy was very excited that Mike McDonald and Clint Kubiak were excited.
Yeah, and it's all, this is the thing too, that it's all going to unfold in front of our very eyes. We're going to be able to see. We're going to be able to critique exactly what Cooper Kupp is, what MVS is, what JSN is. We'll be able to look at Tennessee and see if Lockett can still get it done and if DK is going to be able to get it done. But listen, they're going to be in two totally different offenses, all right? And Lockett's role might be different than what it was over here. DK should be the number one guy over there, so we'll see if he can able to do it by himself and not have the support that he had. That's what's interesting about this whole situation. Talent versus knowledge. You gain some, you lose some, but it's all about their current environment and situation they're in offensively.
One Mariners returning, but who's on the way out? Seattle Times' Tim Booth joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now for a summer project and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners continue their road trip with a series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pregame show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. It's Emerson Hancock against Merrill Kelly. The Mariners are coming off a win over the Angels, one that snapped a 5-game skid. George Kirby struck out 14 in that one. That outing matched Miami's Max Meyer for the most strikeouts by a pitcher in a game this season.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Talking Mariners with Seattle Times reporter Tim Booth on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Tim, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. I think we can safely say George Kirby's okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we can. I think that was a little bit more like the George Kirby we've all grown accustomed to with what he did yesterday in Anaheim.
What was working for him so well? What did you see?
Well, he was really good. He relied really only on 3 pitches. It was his 2 fastballs, his sinker, and his four seam, and then his slider was really good yesterday. And the key was that he was able to spot his fastball early in counts and get ahead of batters in a way that, he was kind of not struggling, but just wasn't as fine and tuned with in his first couple of starts coming off the injured list. And then because he was able to land those pitches where he wanted to and get ahead in counts yesterday, then he was really able to use his slider. And it had a little bit more bite to it. Mitch Garver, after the game, described it as not having a hump in it, which just means it's a little bit more loopy. This one was kind of tighter, a little bit sharper, looked a little bit more like the fastball, which ultimately is the goal of every pitcher, is to have every pitch kind of looking the same and then do different things. The slider yesterday out of his hand looked like the fastball, and then all of a sudden, it would drop off the table. So it was just he was really tuned in with what he was trying to do. He was hitting his spots. And because his fastball is so good and because his slider is so good, and you couple that with having a really aggressive swinging team like the Angels, you get a result like yesterday where he's just dominantly overpowering and has, and strikes out 14 in the process.
Yeah, we're glad to see it. A bit nervous for Kirby for a little bit, but he's back to his normal self. We're still nervous about the offense and what's going on there. And look, we're 60-plus games in. I assume that there's data out on these hitters, right? Teams are figuring out how to attack Julio or anyone else on the squad. Have you seen a change of how teams are attacking this team, or is it as simple as, they're just not barreling that thing up?
I think it's the old adage of guys are starting to play to what the back of their baseball card said or says. Rowdy Tellez is only going to do so much for you. Jorge Polanco has definitely regressed from where he was at the start of the season, and he's really struggled against breaking balls for the last 6 weeks. Really, there's only so much you can expect out of Ben Williamson in his rookie season. There's only so much you can expect out of Cole Young being up here for a week now or 10 days now. So there's a reality to what this offense is, and that's kind of what's shown. And it goes back to the idea that they didn't do enough in the offseason to supplement what you already had with those known commodities in your lineup, whether that's Julio or Cal or JP or Randy or Rosarena. You teetered on this edge of, if you had guys who sort of regressed to what they've been in the last few years, you were going to have an offense that kind of struggles. And there's only so much, Cal can do by hitting home run after home run to keep you afloat offensively. So that's kind of what we've seen. Of course, the league has figured some things out, and they've started to attack some of those weaknesses with these guys. But I think it's more just a general fact of, you got to, outside of your handful of stars, you got a bunch of guys who just aren't that gifted offensively, and this is what you have to live with, is some stretches you're going to go through where that really shows up and you really struggle to score runs.
This is a team that's been pretty snake bitten, and credit to them for getting through some of these injuries, but you obviously desperately could use some back. What are some names we could see coming back soon, and who might be on their way out?
Well, I mean, the biggest name is Logan Gilbert. He's supposed to start tomorrow in Tacoma, and that in theory, that's going to be his last rehab start. And then they're going to have a really interesting decision to make with the rotation, because they've stated pretty publicly that they're not going to go to a 6-man rotation. So you're going to have to ship somebody out, and who's that going to be? And I'm really curious to see what Emerson Hancock does tonight, because overall he's been pretty good, and you can make a fairly strong argument right now that he deserves to be in the rotation more than Bryce Miller does. Bryce obviously had the stint on the IL with the elbow issue and getting the cortisone shot, and kind of came back, and he wasn't great the other night in Anaheim. And I think you're getting to that point where if Emerson goes out and pitches really well tonight, I don't know how you bump him out of the rotation when Logan is ready to rejoin. When you've got someone who isn't performing up to what everyone has kind of expected, and maybe that's a really tough decision to make, because how good Bryce Miller has been in the past, but he hasn't been that same guy pretty much this entire season. So that's kind of the biggest thing on the horizon right now is what is the rotation going to look like when Logan is ready? In theory, that could be as early as sometime this upcoming weekend when Cleveland comes to town. The other one to keep an eye on is Luke Raley, and he in theory could be back sometime in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably get an update today on what his status is, but I believe he was planning to start a rehab assignment here pretty soon. And when he gets back from the oblique, that opens up some options, whether that's playing him as your everyday right fielder, potentially sliding him in more at first base, a mixture of things. So those are the two that are kind of the closest on the horizon that would be significant, contributors to come back into the roster.
Tim, the Mariners, they make moves within, right? We're going to see, sounds like Dominic might get pulled up. We've seen Samad. We got Cole. We got Williamson. Logan Evans was up. Maybe one move to be left to be seen is Harry Ford. What are they going to do with him? They've made moves internally. Is there any other move they can make internally before you got to focus on going elsewhere?
It's a great question, Bump, and I don't think so. There's outside of maybe you make the decision to bring Harry Ford up, which I don't think they're going to do, because if you bring him up, he's not going to catch. You have Cal Raleigh, who in any other year would be the favorite for AL MVP right now, and you don't want to stunt Ford's development by bringing him up and just putting him on the bench, at least right now. So internally, yeah, I mean, Dominic Canzone will be up here tonight. I'm curious to see what the corresponding roster move is with that. Are they going to cut bait with Leody Taveras and say, hey, that was an experiment that didn't work, or is there something else that's going to happen? But otherwise, internally, there's not that obvious option right now for them to turn to, which then obviously begs the question, okay, how soon and how active are they going to end up being looking outside and trying to see what options there could be with trade partners and with who might be available on the market. The problem with that at this point is there's still so many teams that look at themselves as being, in the race at this point that it's hard to, really have significant conversations, with a lot of teams. Like outside of Colorado, Pittsburgh, Miami, and the White Sox, I think everybody else kind of feels like they're still in it to a certain extent. I mean, even the Orioles, who are 12 games under 500, they have such a talent-laden roster that they probably still feel like they have a chance to make a run and get back at least into the wild card conversation. So the external conversations, while they're probably taking place, it's going to be hard to do something substantive right now because of how jumbled the races are in all the different divisions. And the fact you have 3 wild card teams in each league makes it that much tougher for teams to decide, are they in at this point, or are they looking to sell off what pieces they might have and want to make available.
It sure feels like Seattle's best bet is for Julio to just suddenly start playing like an MVP. And he's this really fascinating case study in like what happens when a team is really counting on a guy and he can do it, sometimes does. And then when he doesn't, things fall apart. But I feel like it can be an unfair conversation, Tim, but maybe I'm wrong. So I wanted to throw it your way. Part of the Julio discourse that always drives me crazy is the idea that he's doing nothing. Trade him. He's worthless. He's overpaid. And I feel like you can acknowledge that, unfortunately, this team needs him to do more because they're counting on it, but also that they really should have built some other pieces. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're onto something there, because if you look at the underlying numbers, Julio's having a really good year. Like you take his defensive metrics, you take, while it's not eye-popping numbers, his decent numbers at the plate so far. I mean, he's really rebounded from kind of an ugly start. Which by all, compared to his previous years, his ugly start was better than what it has been. I mean, he's hitting 250 right now. He's got 10 homers. I mean, it's not numbers that jump off the page, and it's certainly not numbers that you would hope to have when compared to what Cal is doing right now. But he's a great piece if you have 2 or 3 other great pieces around him. When you're on a roster which does not have that, and you're paid in the way that he is, and you're showcased in the way that he is, when those numbers don't jump off the page, then you're open to the criticism that fans have of, well, he's not doing enough, he's not living up to the contract, he should get traded, this, that, and the other thing. It's a tough place. It's a tough place to be in, because I think he's doing, short of maybe the power numbers, I think he's doing, for the most part, what he needs to do to help this team. It's the fact there's not enough else around him to make it to where that doesn't stand out to fans as not being enough.
Yeah, that's the tricky part with Julio. All the things you just said, because the numbers kind of match up with the contract. Or would you say the numbers match up with the contract?
That's a really tough question. You would say no right now, and I think I would say no right now, because when that deal was done, you were expecting him to go from being AL Rookie of the Year and an All-Star to being MVP candidate and an All-Star, and that step hasn't happened yet. He's still a really good player that 29 other teams in baseball would take in a heartbeat to have on their roster. His defense in center field has been really underrated, I think, by the general baseball population, and really has gotten exceptionally good defensively in center field. It's just the fact that, he strikes out probably too much. He's not hitting his power numbers aren't where, fans want them to be. He hasn't been great in clutch situations. We've seen, second and third and 2 outs and can't get the runner in, or striking out in key moments, both last year and so far this year. But so from that aspect, he probably hasn't lived up to what the contract states. Now, he's still, Julio's 24, 23, whatever he is. I mean, you still have to take that into consideration. This is still a 24-year-old kid who's got still a lot of time before he actually truly hits the prime of his career. So if you're a fan who thinks he hasn't lived up to the contract as of yet, your hope is that when the rest of this year and as he becomes a 25-year-old and a 26-year-old, you start to look back on it and go, hey, okay, we could live with some of those growing pains early in the contract, because now, by comparison standards, as he gets into more of his prime years, maybe he's outplaying that contract. But it's a really tough place, because you can justify both sides of the argument on Julio right now, because on one hand, you look at it and he's a contributor and he's helping this team, and on the other hand, is he really living up to what that contract states? It's a really tough spot. I think the one thing to keep in mind is typically he gets really hot in the summer. We've seen that throughout his career so far. So if you take that, he had a better start than what he's had previous years, and he's been pretty good the last month or so. If that carries into the summer, then maybe he can be that complementary piece to what Cal is doing and really lift this offense.
We just had a listener say, oh, well, Griffey was 24 and 95. He's 25. But also on a team that also had Buhner and Martinez. And you know what I mean? Like, Tim, this is what I think I take issue with. It's the same thing I felt about Geno Smith issues, maybe Scott Service at the end of last season, where you go, this is part of a problem, but it is unfair to say it's the biggest problem or the problem and ignore other issues. And the way I feel about Julio echoes those other issues, and you'd go, yeah, Geno's part of a problem. He's making some bad decisions in the red zone. But Geno is not the issue with your offense. He's part of a bigger issue. You could say the same thing with Scott Service, where it's like, yeah, maybe he did lose the clubhouse, but he's not the reason that you just aren't making the playoffs or haven't. I look at Julio and I go, yeah, Julio really does need to play better. He does, fundamentally, period. Needs some better decision making, and he has way too much talent to not post some better stats. But I feel like it gives people a scapegoat to ignore other team building issues and performance issues with this team.
And it's also the fact that the franchise he plays for, the position he plays, and it's an instant comparison to, probably unfairly, to one of the greatest baseball players ever. I mean, one of the generationally greatest baseball players we have ever seen, played center field for the Mariners.
Right.
And yes, at the same age, roughly the same age as what Julio is playing right now. And that comparison is always going to be there, and it's always going to be a crutch for people to fall back on when they're not the same player. And yes, to your point, Stacy, Junior had a lot more talent around him in '95 than what Julio has right now in this lineup. And it's a comparison that's unfair to Julio, because they're not the same player. The game is not the same as it was back in the early 90s. And that's not to take anything away from Junior, because Junior is to me, the greatest outfielder I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. But it's not a fair comparison for Julio at this point. And I understand why people make it. I totally get why, because of all the similarities. But Julio is not Junior. He should not be necessarily compared to Junior in the same way. Maybe a few years from now, as Julio gets a little bit deeper into his career, maybe we can start to make that comparison. But they're not the same right now, and it's not fair to Julio to have that comparison be made at this point.
He is Seattle Times' Tim Booth, talking Mariners with us. Thanks so much, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep, thanks, guys.
You can read more from Tim at seattletimes.com. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, the Thunder and Pacers are tied at one game each in the NBA Finals after OKC's blowout win in Game 2. What's the real headline?
Every Seattle win comes with a cost. God will find a way, won't he do it? It'll be the Mariners win. Well, guess what?
Keep you humble.
Pacers lose.
Keep you humble.
Okay, so you'll win.
I saw a video of Halliburton's. Was it Halliburton's? Yeah, his girl going off on somebody in the stands. They were down double digits at the time or whatnot. And it was either his or SGA's, one of them, and they were down at the time.
I think it was Halliburton's.
It was Halliburton's, yeah. She was going in, and I loved it. Wifey, keep supporting. Listen, this is an interesting series. I think that the game has changed so much. When I watch SGA, he is a baller. No denying. Best player, this year. You can go Joker this year if you wanted to, the last 3 or 4 years. But he finds ways to get to the free throw line. And that's the only thing that irks me about his game is that if you just put your hand on his hip, he is going down to the ground, and the referees are calling it every single time. There were stretches in the previous series with Indiana that the referees just let him play. Right, he got a little physical out there. You let him play. I want to see a little bit more of that, but I'm not disappointed so far. I think the Pacers did a great job still in one game on the road. That's your goal when you are the underdog or the team that doesn't have home court advantage. So they did their job. Successful road trip, but now you must take care of your home.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, thanks to a legal settlement that was approved in federal court Friday night, schools can begin directly paying student-athletes from a pool of $20.5 million each starting on July 1st. What's the real headline?
Bring college sports back to the way it was before, when all this money was under the table.
Yeah, grimy.
Handshakes.
Exactly.
Bunch of handshakes.
Come on. Though, what did you think of Dan Wetzel's answer to saying college sports was always like this? Nothing fundamentally has changed.
No.
What's changed is the transfer portal setup is kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whole teams will go.
Listen, there's always been money involved in this thing.
Always.
I cannot confirm or deny that I may know someone that used to get handshakes. That's just, you play a good game, you get a couple handshakes from a booster, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But now it's out there in the open, so you don't have to hide it anymore. And the universities with these big collectives can go out and get their players. I love that there is I'm doing air quotes, salary cap when it comes to this. Schools can actually pay their players now. It just opens up more doors because now you have the $20.5 that the school can pay, and then your collective can add some money as well.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we had this last year, the Cougs. We offered John Mateer $1 million. What if we offered him another couple $1 million on top of that with the money that we're getting from the university? So there's opportunities for smaller schools to kind of keep their players.
Yeah.
End of the day, the bigger schools are going to be in control of this. They're going to get their 20.5, and their collective is going to go crazy. Texas A&M, Texas Tech, SMU, all them Texas schools have resources like crazy.
Well, and again, back to that point of that being how it always was. You know what schools were really dominant when I was in college? Bama, Clemson, at the time, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been that way. The Blue Bloods are always going to blue blood. The SEC, I will say the ACC felt a little more powerful at the time, but there's never been parity. There's never been fairness. In football, I'll eliminate basketball from this conversation. In football, there's not a lot of Cinderella stories. There have always been players that have been incentivized by money, by connections, by resources to go to certain schools over others. That's how it's always been. I would love to see, I think, a little more oversight into how things are going to be run. A little more guidelines when it comes to, because you can curb some of the things people hate about college football. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. There's always going to be money that's out there with NIL deals and now this money to schools. But you can change when the portal window is. You can stop conference realignment.
Yeah, there's some things to work on. The most important thing is that these athletes are getting paid for their services. But you're right. There are a bunch of other things that need to fall in line.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, a 21-year-old man, Earl Henderson Riley, was charged for a string of thefts at the homes of prominent Seattle athletes like Julio Rodriguez, Luis Castillo, Edgar Martinez, Richard Sherman, and Blake Snell. What's the real headline?
It's almost like he knew when these guys would be out of town.
It's almost like there's a schedule out there
when they're going to be away and home.
Yeah. This is unfortunate. And look, man, one, you shouldn't be doing this. Being a thief is just grimy. But how many times did you think you were going to get away with this? How many times? How close do you think your group was going to be and no one's going to step out and say something to the wrong person and snitch and have things all come crumbling down? But you get what you deserve, man. Shouldn't be stealing like that.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. Shame on you. So rightfully found him. Good. I'm glad. Taking a look around the NFL. Coming your way next.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
It's just a crazy question. It's just not going to, like, Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for like the first day and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, my fantasy football thread, Bump, is talking about this story. They all want to know if Jair Alexander could be a Seahawk. The Packers are releasing former All-Pro cornerback Jair Alexander. Here's Ian Rappaport.
This offseason, the two sides agreed to explore a potential trade. That trade did not happen before the draft. So at that point, they discussed a potential pay cut, a restructured contract. Could not agree to terms on that either. In the end, the Green Bay Packers opt for a clean break. They're moving on, and now one of the more talented corners in the NFL expected to be available today.
What's it mean for Jair? What's it mean for the rest of the league? Could the Seahawks take a look?
Seahawks should take a look. Rest of the league is going to take a look, too. It's just, are you going to be willing to gamble, roll the dice? Because we know that he does not stay healthy. Only a couple seasons where he's been completely healthy. But when he is, he's an all-pro. He's a pro bowler. So you got to have an insurance policy. It's going to be a short-term deal. But the Hawks are going to be looking, and a lot of other people are going to be looking, too.
Nick Chubb is a Houston Texan. Pending physical results, of course. Texans expected to sign Chubb to a one-year deal. I do reach a point with certain athletes, and Nick Chubb is unfortunately in this category for me. I'd love to be wrong, where I do think they might be done. You know what I mean? Where I do look at them and go, I want Nick Chubb to rush for 1,000 and prove everyone wrong. I also don't know. That's a lot of injuries to overcome. That being said, what do you think?
Thankfully, he doesn't have to rush for 1,000 in Houston. You got Joe Mixon over there. Damian Pierce will probably be the number 3 running back. Nick Chubb, man, give him 500-600, be great, and in the red zone, and I think you should be good. So if he were asked to be the number 1 running back over there, I would scratch my head and wonder what they're doing.
Sure.
But they still got Joe. So I think this is the perfect kind of role for him. But you're right, it might be over, man. He can't stay healthy. The last couple seasons, he got 2 games, got 8 games, about combined around 400 to 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. Before that, he had 4 consecutive seasons of over 1,000 yards. My man is, how old is he now? He's got to be pushing 28, 29, 30. So once you get up there, you slow down. Then you have the injuries that he had. Mm-hmm. I'm just happy he's still playing. And mentally, he still wants to play. But he'll be at number 2 and number 3 in Houston.
What are your expectations like for Houston? Because obviously they have that breakout season, and then with Stroud's first year. And then in year 2, they take a big step back. Offensive coordinator is fired. Offensive line has taken a step forward. What do you expect this year?
Yeah, and also think that Diggs going down obviously didn't help that
really
situation as well. Yeah. Tank Dell went down, hurts that situation. I think there's a combination of guys being injured and that O-line not doing a great job, but they've done some things to address the offensive line. It's really the defense. If the defense can look like they have been the last few years, they could be okay. I mean, they play in a division that is winnable. You got the Colts, Jags, and Titans. They still should be the favorite to win that division.
After years of being number 12 for the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is going to be number 8 with the Steelers, which I believe is the number he wore with the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
OG gets his number.
Yeah, I look forward to saying he ate that. never, but I thought about it. I've been watching so much Love Island, and they really do. You have teenagers. I obviously do not, but they really do. Like, hey, bestie, hey, twin.
Yeah, it's weird. Hey, gang.
Hey, gang. Yeah, I'm going to start doing it. I swear to God. I'm going to start doing it. I can't wait. Chris Godwin tells The Athletics' Dan Pompey he left a lot of money on the table to return to Tampa Bay on a 3-year deal worth $22 million. Godwin says the Patriots and Steelers, both desperately in need of receivers at the time, offered him $30 million a year. That's a massive pay cut to stay with Tampa Bay.
But he's staying in Tampa, so the taxes are a bit different. Maybe he makes that up.
Yeah, true.
It's not as... I'm sure it's not exact, but it's not as big as he's making it out. Like, look at me, guys. I took $8 million pay cut. It could really be like $2 or $3 million, which is a lot to us, but maybe not a lot for him. And it's the security, too. At the Patriots, you don't know what Drake May is going to look like. I think he's going to be fine. With the Steelers, you didn't know who your quarterback is going to be. At least with Tampa, Baker Mayfield's over there running the show for a little bit.
Are you ready for our next story, bestie?
Let's do it.
Stop. I'm sorry. Curtis is just shaking his head silently. ESPN's Peter Schrager thinks J.J. McCarthy is under more pressure than Caleb Williams heading into 2025.
I think there's more pressure for J.J. McCarthy, the second-year quarterback in Minnesota. More pressure on him for success right away than there is on Caleb Williams, the former first overall pick in Chicago. We're focusing so much on Caleb this offseason, and we're just assuming that everything is fine in Minnesota. And because O'Connell and Kwesi decided to put their faith in J.J. McCarthy, that we know that this team is going to be just as good as they were a year ago. Chicago has such an uphill climb.
Is J.J. McCarthy under more pressure this season than Caleb Williams?
I completely disagree with that. I can disagree, man. He threw in the second-year quarterback. This is his first year in the league, right? He was on the roster last year, but he didn't play. No one knows what to expect from him. And then you can throw in, I know what he's arguing. You're looking at Sam Darnold and saying, well, if he did it, JJ has to be able to do it. Sam has been around the league for a while, right? He's been in different huddles and film rooms and all that good stuff. My expectations for JJ are extremely low. Now, Caleb, it's different. You went and got an offensive lineman. You got some receivers, got you a running back, got your new head coach, changed the game over there. He's not expected to win that division, but he's expected to take less sacks and to look more explosive. And it's not just him, it's the guys around him because of what the organization has done. My expectations are looking at Caleb and saying, you got to be better than last year. But J.J. McCarthy, I'm okay, we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see what he's capable of doing.
I absolutely agree. Normally, I do agree with Peter Schrager. He's so well-sourced, and he has great opinions, but I'm with you. I disagree with him on this one. Caleb not only has sought out the spotlight in a very different way, those quotes to Seth Wickersham for that book where it's clear that Caleb and his father were both like, we're too good for the Bears. No offense. My talent's going to be wasted there. Like, that's a take that Caleb Williams had. That's a source. That's a primary source for that book. That's straight from Caleb's family. But also, Caleb was the #1 overall pick, and the Bears have added a ton of weapons around him. So you can look at JJ and, Bumpy make a really good point about people going, well, if Sam did it, you can do it, then what are you doing? But I don't know, man. Caleb's just in the spotlight in a very different way than JJ.
Yeah. Second year, his squad. New coach, who this?
Most of my friends could not tell you who JJ McCarthy is. They're not sports fans, so that should fill in the blanks.
They can tell you who Caleb is, though.
I don't know. I would say half of them could. I would say I've got at least 2 friends who could probably tell me who he is, but it's a small list. No surprise, but Jalen Ramsey will not attend Dolphins minicamp this week as Miami is still fielding offers for the veteran All-Pro corner.
Look, this is what I've heard about Ramsey. I don't know him personally, obviously, but he's not the best to be around when he isn't happy, okay? He gives me kind of like Draymond kind of vibes and stuff. So if he's not happy with his contract or his situation, you don't want him around. You stay home, keep working out, do your thing. Hopefully we get a trade. If not, let's talk about you coming back and finishing up. Some dudes you just don't want around. So go ahead and stay home and just stay in shape. He will be ready to play. He will be in shape. He's one of those guys.
Okay, so Dolphins looking to trade Jalen Ramsey. Are the Falcons still looking to trade Kirk Cousins? Diana Rossini reports that Cousins is expected to report to Falcons minicamp. This is despite a preference to be traded from the quarterback himself. Cousins did not attend any of Atlanta's OTAs. Do you think that he's a Falcon in Week 1?
Week 1, yeah, I think he is. I think that unless something happens in training camp where there's a starter that goes down, hopefully that doesn't happen. Wish that on nobody. But I think that teams are going to wait until the season comes around to kind of figure out who they are. And then you go grab a guy like Kirk Cousins. His only saving grace was what? Maybe to the Saints or maybe to the Steelers.
Yes,
so
totally.
Steelers is a wrap. Only hope is the Saints. We'll see what we have there.
I agree with you. I was thinking, are the Falcons really going to trade him to the Saints, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking, if the Steelers, who were clearly betting on Aaron Rodgers to sign with them, through their draft, through their off-season, it was clear that they were like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to be with us. That if he didn't go with them, then that was, to me, the only way Cousins wasn't going to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to give Kirk Cousins. You're not going to pay that much money to Kirk Cousins to go play for a divisional rival.
Nah.
That's insane. That's insanity. But I digress. All right. Still to come, we're going to go pretty baseball-y here before we bring on Jim Zorn at 1:30 to talk about that Seahawks 50th anniversary team. As always, get your questions in for what I need to know. That's coming up at 1:45. You got about an hour. 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people just aren't comfortable selling their own car. So what do you do if you want to get the most money for your car, but you don't want to sell it yourself? Stacy here, and I have an answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay you right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most is, well, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. This program means that Wayscar Ford saves money by not traveling to buy cars at auction, which means not paying purchase fees, shipping fees, and travel expenses. Now they can just share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than all those outside vendors. It's a win-win. They encourage you to shop around, but listen, if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with their customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. WayscarFord.com.
The Home Depot has fast, free delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad do more this Father's Day. Because Dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Power Dad's doing with Ryobi cordless outdoor power tools from the Home Depot. Like the Ryobi 40-volt string trimmer kit for $159. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The Mariners are approaching a starting pitcher crunch. What's your ideal 5-man rotation look like? John Morosi was on with Wyman and Bob, and he said that he would still say, despite the woes from offense, that starting pitching is the Mariners' biggest deadline need.
Interestingly, the Mariners this year have scored 1 run more than the mean runs scored of all teams in Major League Baseball. They are about as average as any team could possibly get in terms of the offensive output. That is the result of a pretty good April and a pretty poor May and early days of June. They need to be better than what they were against Baltimore. And yet, if you were to ask me what I think their biggest priority probably needs to be at the deadline, I would still actually answer a starting pitcher.
Pump, do you agree?
No. A starting pitcher at the deadline?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you have a traffic jam at the rotation spot right now. I know that you haven't gotten quality performances by Bryce Miller this year. There have been a couple of shaky starts. Obviously, Kirby getting back in the groove. You're waiting on Logan. No, I don't think it's starting pitching at all. I think that it's a bat and maybe trying to help out that bullpen and get a reliever because those are the things that are going to get you through. If you start moving in the right direction, if George can kind of be the leader there, if Wu can, I mean, he's had the best season of all your starters, honestly. No, I don't think it's a starting pitcher. You need bats. You need runs scored. We don't need 3-2 games, 2-1 games, all right? We need like 4-1 or something like that. I agree. It's bats. It's bullpen help. I think the arms will get healthy, and then you're going to have a tough decision to make. You go in 6-man rotation or you sending somebody down?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think if you take a big picture look at the Seattle Mariners offense, Morosi's right. They do look average. And the one thing we said 1,000,000 times last year, if your offense could just be average, maybe you could be a World Series team because this pitching is so great. Look, the truth is the pitching hasn't been great. Not only have they not been healthy, they've not been great. Miller hasn't been great. Castillo hasn't been great. You know what I mean? Like, Kirby in 3 starts wasn't great, and then he was just, oh, my God, blowing the doors off people. But if you isolate to, let's say, May, the Mariners are 20th in runs scored. So if you're someone who thinks that the version of the Mariners offense, in truth, is better than the one we've seen for the last couple weeks, then you aren't that worried about it. I tend to be a little pessimistic, and I am worried that the true version of the Mariners offense is a little bit more like the May offense, is a little bit more like the one that's in the bottom third of the league and runs.
Yeah. I mean, because there was no one listening, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's no one listening that saw what this team was doing in April, and was like, yup, they've done it. They've arrived.
No, I didn't see anyone.
This is it. We were excited about it.
Yeah.
We were encouraged. We're still waiting with anticipation. Is this going to last? How long is this going to last? No. We were more surprised of how bad the starting pitching was, the rotation. So I think that, unfortunately, we talked to Dan, what's his last name?
Wetzel
today, and he broke it down. He said, look, man, this is just guys being who they really are at this point. And when you don't have that extreme talent, you're going to go through these lows. So how do you help these offensive lows? You add offensive talent to take pressure off of some guys. When you're losing ball games where Kyle has 2 bombs, I mean, it's an issue, right? When you're losing ball games and Randy got on base 3 times, back-to-back games, and you're still losing ball games, it's an issue because you're having those individual performances, but runners aren't in scoring position, guys aren't getting on base, and they're like, it's almost like empty calories when you're eating food. It's like empty calories. Like it does nothing for my body really, but it just tastes good.
Good for my soul.
And I need it.
Yeah.
That's what some of Cal's bombs are. They're empty calories because what do they mean? We're still losing these ball games.
They make me so happy, though.
They make you so happy.
That is a good description because it really is. It'll be like just a bomb that narrows a lead the other team has to 2, and you just think, I don't feel good with myself.
Yeah.
But that tasted good.
It was great watching it, but it did nothing for me.
Tim Booth on with us talked about with Gilbert coming back, the Mariners have a decision to make.
The biggest name is Logan Gilbert. He's supposed to start tomorrow in Tacoma. In theory, that's going to be his last rehab start. And then they're going to have a really interesting decision to make with the rotation because they've stated pretty publicly that they're not going to go to a 6-man rotation. So you're going to have to ship somebody out. And who's that going to be? And I'm really curious to see what Emerson Hancock does tonight because overall, he's been pretty good. And you can make a fairly strong argument right now that he deserves to be in the rotation more than Bryce Miller does. Bryce obviously had the stint on the IL with the elbow issue and getting the cortisone shot and kind of came back, and he wasn't great the other night in Anaheim. And I think you're getting to that point where if Emerson goes out and pitches really well tonight, I don't know how you bump him out of the rotation when Logan is ready to rejoin.
Do you reward the player who is better or the player who's been playing better?
Playing better. So what have you done for me lately? Here's what Miller can do. It's all on Miller. He can either make the decision really clear and simple for the Mariners or make it extremely tough. And I think there's benefits to both. You make it extremely clear. All right, you're getting sent down. We're rolling with the youngster. We don't have to talk about this 6-man rotation. You make it extremely tough. You go out there and ball out. Now you're saying, man, how is this decision going to affect our bullpen? But we're getting some good play out of this guy. We don't want to disrupt whatever's going on. I think there's a win in either situation. I never hope for a team to lose or for a guy to struggle. So I guess I'm hoping for them to have an extremely tough decision.
Yeah, I mean, then you also have, to your point, what if Emerson makes it an easy decision for them?
Yeah.
Emerson starting tonight against the Diamondbacks,
he's just done so much more this year than Miller.
You're right.
Like his leash is longer.
Well, and I think your argument is one that most athletes, most coaches would have, which is, yeah, I don't care if Miller is I think if you ask this front office in December or January or March, who's the first guy out of the pen or who's the 6th guy, they'd say Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
There would be no hesitation, there'd be no doubt, there'd be no anything. It's not like that's changed, really. It's not like Emerson Hancock suddenly became, on paper, a better pitcher than Bryce Miller. But do you reward the guy that's doing it? You say yes, and I think a lot of people would side with you.
Yeah, you gotta.
It's not like you're losing Miller.
No, it's what have you done? I'm not looking at last year. At this point of the season, 60 games in, we're not looking at last season.
Yeah.
If we're 10 to 20 games in, we're saying, all right, give him some time. He'll figure it out. But no, Emerson Hancock, I think, has established himself in this lineup.
Curtis, are you siding with Bump on this one? I know it's not hype train until tomorrow, but are you like, hey, reward the guy who's performing right now?
I think you kind of have to. I think Bryce Miller has just not been as sharp as we had hoped he would be this season. And for that reason, I would have to go with Emerson Hancock in that spot over Bryce Miller. I don't know what you do with Bryce Miller. I think he's got some options left. You could send him down, but maybe you put him back on the injured list, make sure that he is absolutely 100% healthy for the season's most important months. Because I think you can get by with Emerson Hancock right now here in the season's middle part. But I don't know if running Bryce Miller out there every fifth day is going to get you back in the hunt here in the AL West.
The 2025 MLB All-Star ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day. I call that election rigging, but whatever. Every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. We are going to stick with baseball here. I think we might be making things a little too complicated when it comes to Julio. But if you need your football fix, Bump has you covered beginning at 1:15 with 4 Down Territory. And then Jim Zorn is going to join us at 1:30. Don't go anywhere.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. And I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here, and I know you want to look and feel your best as you head into this new season. Are you tired of the roller coaster of losing weight just to see it all come back again? Maybe you've heard about the new drugs but are concerned with the possible side effects, or you're taking weight loss drugs but also want to learn how to change your lifestyle for long-lasting results. We can help you. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Roland Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Join the thousands of people who've lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. It doesn't matter where you live. You can do our program in person in Kirkland or all remotely. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, The roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist. And the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch.
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
Father's Day weekend is officially on deck, and T-Mobile Park is the perfect place to celebrate. Bring Dad out to a ball game as the Mariners take on the Guardians, Friday through Sunday. And on Father's Day, the first 10,000 dads 21 plus will score a pair of socks thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Get your tickets now at mariners.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Norm. Norm, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Spending too much money on insurance, and it just kept on going up higher and higher and higher. And this last time I did the First Mark Challenge.
So they were able to save you some money, Norm?
Oh, yeah, at least $2,000 a year.
What?
At least.
Wow. You ever feel like, man, I wish I would have taken that First Mark Challenge earlier?
Yes. I mean, $2,000 I could have saved a year, over probably 4 or 5 years. Wow.
How would you describe their customer service?
Fantastic. Beyond expectation. Call First Mark. They treat you like a real person, that they have your best interest in mind.
Norm did it. My family did it. You got to do it. And it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you like they did Norm, and how much better your coverage will get to. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory I get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners continue their road trip with a series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. Emerson Hancock on the mound against Merrill Kelly.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Are we making things a little too complicated when it comes to Julio? I think this conversation's fascinating, don't get me wrong. And I am leaving room for a lot of opinion, even ones that I disagree with. I'll tell you I disagree. But I want people to chime in here. Bump, are we overcomplicating a simple situation when it comes to Julio?
No, I don't think we are. I think people are making it too simple.
Oh.
I think people are saying if Julio plays better, this team is going to win more ball games.
Okay.
Yeah, Julio plays better. Yep, you should win more ball games. But you need Julio to play better. You need Mastrobuoni to play better. Solano for sure needs to play better. Cole, Williams, and everyone who's in that lineup needs to play better. Julio's not having a horrible season. It's not great. So, yeah, he needs to play better. But him just going on a tear by himself is not going to win you ball games. We just talked about how Kyle's been going yard, and it's not a guaranteed win when he goes yard. You need more connection. Connect the at-bats, get guys in running and scoring position, knock them in. Julio can't do all that by himself.
Oh, that's such a better take than mine. You're right. We actually are we're oversimplifying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Tim when he was on with us that I don't mean to get on this soapbox when it comes to Julio, but it triggers something inside of me and I don't know what it is, but I'll do my best to explain it, which is we try to create scapegoats to explain away other people's mistakes, and then people make the same mistakes over and over, and we never really talk about them, right? So an example would be, and it's black or white thinking. So an example would be Geno Smith is a horrible quarterback, and Geno Smith is the reason this team didn't get to the playoffs. Well, no. Hang on a minute.
Hold your horses.
Geno Smith made some bad decisions in the red zone. I would not say Geno Smith is a top 5 quarterback. However, this team had some fundamental issues with its offensive line, Bump, you were spending all year talking about issues with play calling and not building on concepts and building on things they were doing well. I mean, there was a lot going on. You talk about receivers either dropping passes, running the wrong routes, being at fault for some interceptions. I think sometimes we just think you can't think two things when it comes to sports.
Mm-hmm.
We're very takey. That Geno can make bad red zone decisions, and also this team has more than a Geno problem. That's how I feel about the Mariners. That's how I feel about the Mariners offense. Julio can and should do more. This team does not have a Julio problem. And thinking that Julio, like painting Julio like he's a villain, covers up some blame that should be going to other places and covers up responsibility that should be felt by the front office, everyone.
Yeah, it's easier to look at the guy who's getting paid the most and give him the bulk of the responsibility, and it's fair. It's completely fair to do that. But if you dive deeper and realize that the better teams have guys that contribute all throughout the lineup. Like, you'll never be able to have the same lineup as some of the best hitting teams in the game, but you can look at some of the things they have in common, and some of the things they have in common is that 1 through 9, there's some guys getting it. You know, our ninth, 7, 8, 9 doesn't strike the fear that a team that gets it done 7, 8, 9 does. That's just what it is. You're not going to be able to duplicate what they do, but everyone is supported in that lineup. It also helps when you have just a flat-out superstar. You know, you got Ohtani, you got Judge, even Trout. You know, he's only played, 50 games a year for the last X amount of years. It still provides some type of relief for those guys beneath Julio and Cal. But it can happen vice versa, too. They could get things going, get on base at the bottom of the order, and allow some of these home runs by Cal to produce 2 to 3 runs and have Julio drive some runs in. Julio does need to be more clutch, right? There are a lot of times where he has an opportunity to come through clutch, and he just doesn't do it. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. There's no just one standalone issue that can only be fixed by that one person, and if that one person fixes it, this season is saved and we feel good about it. Everything's connected.
Yeah, and I think that it does a disservice to any analysis of a team or its issues to look only to someone that had really high expectations. So to say, well, I'm not going to critique Dylan Moore because I had no expectations for Dylan Moore. Well, the team did.
Yeah.
Dylan Moore wouldn't be here as a regular contributor on this team if the front office didn't expect he'd be having a better season. I don't expect that Dylan Moore is going to put up Julio numbers, but I don't think he's had a hit since May 27th. And I like Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore's a likable dude. I'm rooting for Dylan Moore. This front office loves Dylan Moore. He needs to do more. No pun intended.
Listen, there's a reason why these guys are in the position they are in when it comes to the lineup, right? There's a reason why Solano was brought over here. There's a reason why Demo's the utility guy. There's a reason why Ben has been called up. There's a reason why everyone's in their spots. And the reason is because the organization thinks that they are good enough to contribute to the ball club. All right? And some of these guys are handcuffed. DePoto's handcuffed at times because he can't spend the money that he wants to spend. But what do you do with the money that you can spend? You build a team. And this is the team that you build. You don't build a team and say, hey, 7, 8, 9, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about hitting.
You don't need to show up today.
We'll take care of that at the top. They're saying, no, we would love to get some contributions down here because we know that it'll help the guys up top. Guys up top, we would love for you guys to lead the charge to help these guys down on the bottom. No one's just on the team because the organization doesn't feel that they're capable and they're just out there. Do you have spending restraints? Yes, you most definitely do, and it determines the type of talent you get down there. But everyone should be expected to produce at some level. I think that's a fair enough expectations for guys getting paid to play a game.
Yeah. You asked him, unfortunately it was a good question, whether Julio is playing up to his contract.
It's just the fact that he strikes out probably too much. His power numbers aren't where fans want them to be. He hasn't been great in clutch situations. You know, we've seen, second and third and 2 outs and can't get the runner in, or striking out in key moments, both last year and so far this year. But from that aspect, he probably hasn't lived up to what the contract states. Now, he's still, Julio's 24, 23, whatever he is. I mean, you still have to take that into consideration, this is still a 24-year-old kid who's got still a lot of time before he actually truly hits the prime of his career. So if you're a fan who thinks he hasn't lived up to the contract as of yet, your hope is that the rest of this year, and as he becomes a 25-year-old and a 26-year-old, you start to look back on it and go, hey, okay, we could live with some of those growing pains early in the contract, because now, by comparison standards, as he gets into more of his prime years, maybe he's outplaying that contract.
I don't know how it's impossible to hold both thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Look how easily Tim is doing it. Hey, Julio's not living up to his contract, period. Strikes out too much. Tim talked professionally around this, but I think what people would say is he's just not clutch in the way that you need your superstar to be clutch. If you're going to be a superstar, if you're going to be the face of a team, you need to play better. And hitting 260, 270 is fine. That's great. Fantastic. But you need to do more if you're the superstar. Agree.
Fair.
Cosign. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Julio come up in a big moment and been so frustrated when he's just like hacking at something.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating. Yeah, get it. But also, this front office probably could have done a little bit more with the offense. But also, some of the guys that they have here have either had bad luck with injury, and that's really no one's fault, right? Or they could be playing a little better, and hopefully they do. And hopefully that turns around. I just think that holding off on analysis or criticism for different parts of a team doesn't help you get better.
Pointing the finger at one thing never fixes a ball club. It can be any sport. One thing is never going to be the reason why you lose or the reason why you win.
Yeah.
It can contribute to both, though.
It's like complaining about a bad call.
Yeah, that's not the reason why you lost. You lost because for 60 plays, you got whooped, and then you got yourself in a position to where that call affected the outcome of that certain situation. No, it has to be spread out. Is it always spread evenly? No, and it shouldn't be spread evenly because other guys have different expectations. So it's tough, especially when you're in the position that you're in right now as the Mariners, a team that was in first place, had a few game lead, and you're resorting back to the old Mariners. And naturally what you want to do is look at the person that you feel like isn't hitting the numbers that you like for him to hit and say it's your fault. It's not all his fault. He contributes to that situation. Someone texted in on the text line, 425. Julio is batting .288 over his last 30 games. Julio and Cal are doing what they're supposed to do, just don't have the supporting cast. And pitching thus far is not what was expected. Baseball drives me crazy sometimes because of all the stats and data and stuff, but it also, and because of how many games you play, but it also gives you perspective when you do look at something like the last 30 games, because it's easy to come on get on the internet and look at Julio's numbers and say, well, look, this is where he's at compared to all these other guys. All right, but I said it last week, a couple other weeks ago, he's trending in the right direction. If he were going, if that chart was pointing down, I'd feel a bit different about him. But he's trending in the right direction. You just need some help, man. Nobody wins by themselves.
So this is what I think a lot of that frustration really is. This is my theory. It is misguided and projected because there is a real fear and a lack of faith that the Mariners can bring in a lot of help from outside.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm looking at someone to save the team, am I going to look at Leody Taveras, Rowdy Tellez, or Julio? No disrespect to Rowdy. Okay?
No disrespect.
He can hit a bomb here and there. Seems like a really likable guy. No disrespect to anyone else. But part of it is that Mariners fans are smart. Listeners are smart. Mariners fans are smart. There are a lot of people that go, yeah, I can be frustrated with Julio, but part of this is that I know that if I want to see this team in the postseason, that he's going to have to be an MVP. That's the best possible thing the Mariners could do at the deadline is suddenly see Julio hit over 300.
Curtis, have there been teams, I'm sure there have, maybe see if you remember or not, teams that have had like two legit MVP candidates in a season as of late?
The Angels with Trout and Ohtani.
Trout and Ohtani.
Yeah.
And how'd they do?
They never made the playoffs.
They never made the playoffs.
Last year, Judge and Soto with the Yankees, they had a lot better success. They made it all the way to the World Series. So it kind of varies.
Yeah.
You've got two very drastic finishes to a season.
All right, so I asked Curtis that question. It just helps out perfectly. Do we have a Ohtani and a Trout?
Nope.
No, we ain't got that.
Nope.
Do we have a Soto and a Judge?
But fortunately not.
No, we don't have that. And even with that, they still needed everyone else to contribute. So we have an MVP caliber type of player right now in Cal Raleigh. And asking Julio to be an MVP type of guy is fair. But it doesn't happen often. And even if you do have that, you still need the other dudes. Someone pointed out the Dodgers, Ohtani and Freeman. Yeah, you still had Maxey out there. You still had Mookie out there. Like you still
great
need
pitching.
Pitching for days.
Injuries.
You still need other things to happen. So this isn't a let's just sit here and defend Julio type of segment. No, I think it's let's live in reality and understand that even if he were to go out there and have an MVP type of season, all right, we got one of those things going on with Cal, which is a blessing. You're still going to need all these other pieces to work out.
Such a good point, right? It's not about saying everyone leave Julio alone. It's about saying a more honest conversation about this team is that they need more help.
Yeah.
And that Julio balling isn't going to solve every single problem.
It will help the problem.
Absolutely.
But you need more.
In reality, not only should you have done a little bit more, but you're just going to need a little bit more, no matter what. So where's it come from? Does it come from the minors? I don't personally think so. Does it come from someone not named Julio or Cal stepping up? Maybe JP goes off. Maybe Polanco suddenly looks much better. Maybe, I don't know, fill in the blank, right? Does it come from an outside acquisition?
I think that's where we are at this point. I think even when they were playing some good ball, we still felt like you're going to need more. Right, because this isn't sustainable. Even when Polanco was going nuts, going crazy, I don't think you and I sat here and thought, all right, we're good for the rest of the year. We're going to be just fine. It's more like, all right, when does this stop? And who else is going to step up when it stops? Because it's inevitable.
All right. We are jumping into some Seahawks talk back-to-back here. Coming up at 1:30, it's the Seahawks' 50th anniversary. Team quarterback Jim Zorn going to join us. Before we get to that, it's time for 4 Down Territory.
This is 4 Down Territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down. I lost my spot. Sorry. First down. What did you gain from MVS and Cooper Kupp?
I brought this one back around because we talked about the receivers and stuff earlier in our show, and I think it was important to point out that players can be better physically, but still not be the better football player or the right football player for this situation here. As far as MVS, what you gain is a guy who averages 17.4 catches per reception. Not going to have a lot. He had, 200 less catches than Geno. They've been in the league around the same amount. I think MVS might even be longer. But he fits with this offense is going to ask him to do. Could DK do what MVS does? I think he could. But I also think that his route running and ability and knowledge of this offense allows him just to be the guy, to be the home run guy. Let me catch a few big ones and we're good. With Cooper Kupp, you gain one of the smartest receivers I've ever spoken to when it comes to knowing the game, how it's changed, where it is now, and how to influence. You've also gained someone who is great when it comes to the blocking game. Tyler Lockett wasn't great at the blocking game. Tyler Lockett was good at sitting in zones and finding space out there. And I think Cooper Kupp can do that as well. Tyler Lockett is a bit older as well, so he's not trying to get hit and do all that good stuff. You gained a lot out of these two. You lost some stuff, too, out of DK. DK's physical nature is just unmatched in this league, and you hardly see the type of DKs. Like the last receiver I saw that was the type of receiver DK was probably T.O. Everybody else, I mean, even A.J. Brown is a big receiver, but the physicality is just a bit different. I'm not saying DK is as good as T.O. I'm just talking about the body type and the way they play the football game. In this offense, I think Kubiak values more route running and spatial awareness. And I think that's what you got out of MVS and Cooper Kupp.
Second down. ESPN's Brady Henderson said letting Geno go for Darnold was a lateral move. Do you agree? And is a lateral move good enough to win?
It could be a lateral move. And I say that because we saw what Sam Darnold did last year with the cast that he had. It was awesome. Can you run it back? With Geno, we saw him make the most out of nothing at times, stand in the pocket and do his thing. Either way you put it, after this year, we'll know exactly what tier that Sam Darnold is in. But I think they're hovering around the same tier when it comes to ability and just expectation. So it could be a lateral move. It could be just a slight step forward. But I think that with both quarterbacks, you should be able to win. It's going to be good enough for the Raiders. It's going to be good enough for the Seahawks if the defense balls out and the run game gets going. It's crazy. We're saying the same thing about these two quarterbacks. Geno, you go to Vegas, if the defense plays well and you run the football, you're going to win some games. Sam, if the defense plays well and you run the ball, you're going to win some games. So essentially our thinking hasn't really changed when it comes to expectation with these quarterbacks. So I would say it's something like a lateral move, and if those two things happen, both teams will win some ball games.
Third down. What do you know about the Aaron Rodgers contract?
So read an article, agent says, it's been on the table for weeks. And I think you and I felt like that was the case anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think with a player that's the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, you're not just sitting at home hoping that there's an offer on the table. You know exactly what's on the table, but you want to take your time. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you feel like you got to go to minicamp. Like, imagine if Aaron Rodgers signed that contract before these voluntary minicamps. People be on his head. They're already on his head. He should be there. He's not a leader. He didn't want to go through all that again. So maybe we're looking at Aaron Rodgers and he's learning. He's maturing. He goes, I'm going to handle this a bit differently. They're still going to talk about me, but I'm not going to sign until those mandatory camps come along, and I'm not going to fly to Egypt and say, you know what, I'm not doing it this year. So, yeah. And he can make up to $20 million, but off incentives and getting to the playoffs and all that good stuff, he's going to get paid less this year if he doesn't hit those numbers, less than Justin Fields. So that's just where he is in his football life. He's 41 years of age. He just wants to play football, and they're going to save some money actually rocking with Aaron Rodgers.
Fourth down. Bengals' best defensive player isn't happy with Cincinnati following a stall to contract talks. Trey Hendrickson, should he be a target for the Seahawks?
Talent-wise, you got to look at him. I watched a few games of his with the All-22, and my only concern with Trey Hendrickson is how does he acclimate to this defense? He is a true edge rusher in a 4-3 defense, 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. I didn't see many times with him pinched inside to the 3 or the 1 tag, or maybe a 5 with a guy on the outside. It was normally him against that tackle. In this 3-4 defense, there are situations where they set up to where you have your edge rusher hand in the dirt or even standing up in the 2-point on the line of scrimmage. But because your personnel is 3 down linemen, 4 backers, your outside backers got to be a bit more versatile, right? They can rush a quarterback. They can drop into a zone. They can run stunts and all that good stuff. Physically, he's good to go, but now it's about fit. Does he fit the type of player, edge rusher, that Mike McDonald wants here? If you look at the edge rushers, who are they? They're Boye Mafe. They are Uchenna Nwosu. Who am I missing? Anyway, those two type. Derek Hall. Like, if you just look at the body type of those 3 and you stand them next to Trey Hendrickson, they don't look the same. They don't feel the same. Now, they're all different type of players, but they're all type of real versatile type of players. If he can pinch in and play the 1 and the 3 and maybe a 5 or a 4-eye, I'm just talking gaps now, and I'm trying to talk over people, then maybe. But from what I saw with the Bengals, he wants to be on that edge by himself. So I don't think it'd be a good fit, but sometimes you just take talent regardless of if you think that'd be a good fit or not.
You think he ends up staying with Cincinnati?
He better. The Bengals better take care of him.
I genuinely don't know what they're going to, like, what are you going to do? An even better season from Joe Burrow and Jamar? Like, what?
I don't know. They better get it done.
You guys can't have any incomplete passes. That's the rule now for that Bengals offense. No incomplete passes, 0 drop passes, touchdowns every drive, and that should be enough.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for that. All right. Very quick Mariners roster move. I know we were all wondering if Dom Kenzo would be called up today. He is called up today per NPR, and the corresponding move, Leody Taveras, has been DFA'd. That is the latest from the Mariners. We were all wondering what would end up happening there. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight. They opened a 3-game series against the Diamondbacks. Pre-game starts at 5:30 p.m. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Still to come, what I need to know at 1:45, and you have some time to get your questions in. So get those questions in now. 866-979-3776. Again, any question, sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. 866-979-3776. Congratulations to quarterback Jim Zorn making the Seahawks 50th anniversary team. He joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot. Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Secret Clinical Dominating Extra Stinky Stress Sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, part of the Seahawks' 50th anniversary team. Congratulations to quarterback Jim Zorn. Jim, how's it going?
It's going well, Stacy. It's good to hear from you guys. And hi, Michael.
What's up, Jim?
We're happy to have you. How'd you hear about it? Did you get a call from someone with the Seahawks?
Well, they have been keeping in touch through emails and things like that they were going to put this all together. And I heard about it through really Chuck Arnold and Mo Kelly. They were trying to call all of the players who actually were awarded with the honor.
See, Jim, you were behind the scenes. Bump, not only was Jim like, it's not even that I got a call. I knew who was going to be on this list.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I know that there was 150 players singled out, and then there was a criteria that they had, and I was excited that they could reach that far back.
Jim, we'll talk football here in a minute, but I had the pleasure of sitting down with you and talking ball a few times a couple years back, and people don't realize you got a passion for gardening and stuff in your backyard, man. How was that backyard looking? You were doing some things to it last time.
It's green, but it grows fast, and in the summer there's a lot of things to attend to, and things seem to get bigger every year. But I enjoy it. You know that. Appreciate it.
Checking in on the garden.
Checking in. It had a little stream in there. It was beautiful.
Hey, well, I'm going to move to football quickly, but it's more of a historic look. Obviously, you were the Seahawks' first franchise quarterback, and I wondered this. Like, we knew all day, obviously, that we were having you, and I was just thinking, I wonder from Jim's point of view how different the position looks now. I mean, how has quarterback changed the most from your days to today?
Yeah, I was standing next to Sam Darnold and even, watching practice from the sideline and realizing I'm 6'2", and these guys are 6'5". Man. I coached Joe Flacco, and he's 6'7". Matt Hasselbeck's almost 6'5". So these guys are bigger than what I think the quarterback size was when I played. I would say when I played, one thing that is not different is the need for a mobile quarterback. And so I had the mobility and I scrambled. But they are, I would say much bigger, and there's more that has to be heaped on their shoulders on the line of scrimmage for sure.
Hey, Jim, I spent some time kind of comparing what the Seahawks lost and gained at receiver and what they lost and gained at the quarterback spot. What did you like about Geno when he was here, and what do you like about Sam?
Yeah, well, what I really liked about Geno was his consistency. He seemed to really be a consistent passer, throwing the ball. He ran the offense well. As far as his mobility, there was he was more of a pocket passer in my mind. And then with Sam Darnold, he's proven that he can win. He's proven that he can command some respect in an offense. I know Minnesota was not happy to see him come to the Seahawks, just losing him to whoever. But I do think that he loves to he reminds me a little bit of Matt Hasselbeck when he came in from Green Bay, in that he knew it was his offense and he was taking charge. And, as a coach, I got to coach Matt for all 7 years. And it was great because he wanted the information so he could go and play. And I think that's what Sam Darnold has as well. He's got this attitude of, let me have the information and I'll go do it. And I think, we can all kind of get behind that and respect that for sure.
That Seahawks 50th anniversary team also included, obviously, names that we know and love at wide receiver. Of, receivers that are from, let's just even say, the last 10 years or less. So, like DK, Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin on that list. You obviously never played with them. But, Jim, if you were still starting for the Seahawks and, let's say the year is 1979 and you get to pluck one of those receivers and put them on your team, who would you most have wanted to throw to of those three?
I probably would say Doug because of his the discipline that he had in route running and just the various positions that he could play. He could play inside and outside. He could move. He understood where he was on the field. So I think I would choose a guy like that first. But gosh, you love the speed, and I think I'd have to throw it up early if DK was running down the field. I'd have to anticipate the throw well to get him the ball in stride. But and then of course Tyler is still playing and has been a great player. But I think I would choose Doug first.
Hey, Jim, what's your involvement with the Seahawks these days? I see you at almost every home game, I feel like. What are you up to?
Yeah, I like to go and watch I really like to watch the pregame, see how we're warming up, and look at the other team and see the kind of speed that the guys are trying to use. And then I like to watch the game, and I like to watch it with binoculars. And I'm critical like everybody else. I might know a little bit more because I played, but I like to have an opinion. I keep it to myself, but I say, this has to happen or that has to happen. And then right now, I coach individual QBs, and I still have a high passion, I would say, towards football and coaching. And so I coach individual QBs, and then I also really enjoy going to Seahawk practices. They've been very kind to past players, but especially me, to be able to watch and observe how the preparation's going.
Who's one of your favorite quarterbacks to watch today? Like when you get a chance, it doesn't have to be a Seahawk. Like when you get a chance, you tune into those games. Like you just really enjoy watching them. Yeah,
well, I like Patrick Mahomes because I like the way he moves, and I like the way he's got a great attitude towards wanting to win. And again, one of those guys that is working out there and trying to, trying to do all the things that it takes. But I certainly like what Goff has done in Detroit. I think he's, that was kind of a new lease on life. I've always enjoyed watching Russell Wilson. There's a bunch of guys that I like. And, one of the quarterbacks that I said I coached earlier is Joe Flacco. I mean, he's an older guy, but this guy is still playing at a high level and can play at a high level. He's got a great feel for the game, great arm, and he knows what he's doing out there when he stands strong in the pocket.
Yeah, he might be their week 1 starter, Jim. I mean, looking at that quarterback room, I'm kind of rooting for Joe. So I hope he is.
Yeah, I know. But I would root for him too. I think he can do it. I mean, he's a bit deadpan, you know. I mean, he's not super flamboyant, doesn't have a whole lot to say, but he does like to play.
Seahawks 50th anniversary team. That includes, of course, quarterback Jim Zorn. Jim, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim.
All right. Hey, enjoy, and we'll see you at the Seahawk facility at some point, I'm sure.
Yep. See you soon.
See ya. When you were asking Jim about his garden, Wyman had popped into the control room to chat with Curtis for a second, and I was thinking, man, imagine both these guys in a garden off.
Listen, let me tell you, like his garden, there's like little pathways through the stream with a bridge over. There's places to sit down to the right.
I'm not even going to call him he's like a landscaper.
Fairy woodland.
And it's off he lives on Mercer, so then there's a view of the ocean. I'm like, dang.
Wow.
You're doing it, Jim.
Dudes love gardens.
You're doing it.
This is a very underrated part of just men, I feel like, is dudes love a lawn and they love gardens.
That's right.
I'm just saying, like, this is something I've noticed in my life as I've gotten older, but just realizing like how often all of like, people I know, regardless of age, right? So you and Curtis, obviously my own dad, friends' dads will always be like, that's a beautiful stone bridge. Where'd you get that?
It's beautiful.
It's a nice pond. Did you get koi in that? You got koi? Okay, that's nice.
A rock garden? Wow.
Yeah. The 2025 MLB All-Star ballot is open, and Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew, probably all avid gardeners, need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day, through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit Earnin.com for full details.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs?
the answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
New Harley-Davidson Street Glides under $265 a month at Jet City Harley. Try it out for under $265 a month on a new Street Glide at Jet City Harley-Davidson.
Payments based on Street Glide model and base color with 30% down, 96-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
Smoked paprika in your go-to goulash? That's go-go goulash. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion and provide better access to SeaTac. Open soon, free through summer.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your question, any question, and now 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I have two non-sports before I jump into sports. What goes better with pie, says one listener, ice cream or whipped cream?
Lieutenant Dane.
What's Lieutenant?
Lieutenant Dane.
What?
You know what? Watch Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah, Lieutenant Dan, because he put...
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Oh, no, I said,
Kids.
See, I said that, but I
kids.
just didn't.
You
kids. I'm sorry. The answer's ice cream, and
Yes.
I don't really think it's a fair question. It's like, who would you rather have run this race, me or Usain Bolt? Like, it's just kind of, you're talking about two different athletes here. You know? Like, whipped cream's fine.
It's cool.
Awesome. I'll eat that on pie. Ice cream is a varsity athlete.
Ice cream like changes everything.
Including my life,
It
frankly.
affects
Gets into the crevices.
It's just absolutely the correct answer to everything. Ice cream on everything.
Ice cream for life.
I think ice cream's the best dessert.
I would agree. Yeah. You can do a lot of stuff with ice cream.
I just don't think there's a single... Matt, do you disagree?
It's seasonal, like in summer, definitely. But like cake
Like, or warm pie.
Seasonal.
I'm sorry.
You can have ice. You can have ice cream any time of the year.
Ice cream is seasonal?
Seasonal?
No, but it's better in the summer.
Ice cream's good all the time. It is great in the summer,
And all
but
the
ice
time.
cream
Ice
is
cream's
not
good.
seasonal. This isn't cherries. We're not over here talking about something that you can only have a certain. No, ice cream all the time. What, Matt?
No, again, it's always good.
What's
I'll
your
always have
winter
ice cream.
dessert?
I would say pie or a cake or something.
Just slamming cakes
yeah.
in the wintertime.
God,
Yes,
you're so annoying. 866-979-3776. If you could teach a course for a day at the college you graduated from, what would your class be called?
Oh, how to get through it. It's how to get through it.
So each class day is a different. Guys, today we're talking hangovers.
Hangovers, how to get
How
through
to
it.
get through it with Bump.
We go alcohol poisoning, how to get through it. All right, I'm going to get you through this. Whatever.
Certain routes. How to get through it.
How to get through it.
Today,
Traffic, how to get through it.
How to get through it.
I got you.
Wow. Okay, that's a good one. Curtis, Matt. Matt would have one on Marvel.
Oh, for sure.
Doctor Who.
No one would want to attend it, but I would still have it.
Yeah. What would your class be called?
How to be a nerd 101, something like that, probably.
Okay. Curtis.
I mean, I'd love to do a sports trivia class, but I would say how to beat the heat, finding the nearest air conditioning unit. Because I went to school at U of A. It was very hot.
Yeah. You can just be like, look, as someone who sweats easily,
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you how to beat the heat. I have a lifetime of experience.
What would you be? What would yours be?
Obviously, I got to touch on reality TV, but I don't know if I want like the psychology of reality TV. I think that's what I would want. I think that if you'll allow me 30 seconds, I think that reality TV is often pigeonholed as something that only women like. Fine, that's
true.
Mostly true, but also there are many examples of that not being true. But the psychology of reality TV are actually things that most people resonate with. So gossip, heroes, villains, questions about rules, and questions about how to handle things, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not ethics, but
conflict.
No, what are you talking about
ethics,
with
integrity?
not ethics. I'm blanking on it. Anyways,
It sounds like you already have your syllabus.
oh, absolutely. It would be about how reality TV targeted towards women, but all the things that resonate with people about reality TV are things that resonate because we're human, and we don't want to admit that we're very into these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the psychology of all of us. Reality TV, a mirror to society. Got it. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Wait. Do you ask others what they're ordering when you're out to eat? Like it matters what others order. I don't know what they're asking.
No, like if you're about to eat, I go, what you getting?
Oh.
Kind of comparing. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you don't want somebody ordering something that's better than what you have. Right? Because then you're just going to be jealous of what they've got the whole meal.
Someone said the word you're looking for is morality. That's not the word I'm looking for. I know the word I'm looking for. I'm just blanking on it.
Clearly
It has to do with like the rules for mundane things.
You know what I'm stunned that we haven't talked about once today is what came up during show prep today about Bump and sunglasses.
Oh my God! No, let's reenact the conversation. I'll be me and you be Bump, okay, Curtis? This is a
Okay.
real conversation that happened. So I said something like, actually I forget. You eventually said, I never wear. You know what I never wore until I was in my 30s? Sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what Bump said.
And then we said,
So why?
Why? You're from LA. You never wore sunglasses until your 30s. And then Bump said,
I think I can pull it off. I think I can do it.
etiquette.
It wasn't my look.
Yeah, the word I was looking for was etiquette.
Okay.
People get fired up about the right way.
I mean,
to do
I'm all for it now. I got plenty that I lose every year. You know, that's why I was getting from the.
I didn't think I could pull it off.
It's a statement piece.
Like this isn't like it's not like I don't know. See, I like bucket
See, I'm from
hats, but I don't know
LA,
if I can. Exactly
and you wear
though.
you wear sunglasses. You low key look like you're trying to be famous.
It's the sun. It protects you from the sun, and so that you can see when there's a glare.
Y'all don't get it.
What do
It's
you mean you
just-
can't pull it off? You need them. They're functional.
we used to look at people who wore sunglasses like, who do you think you are? Like,
because
you
it's
looking
sunny.
Trying to look all fancy
Stop.
and stuff, like you're a celebrity or something.
Okay, you guys, if Bump wears sunglasses at minicamp this week, we have to be like,
I definitely will wear sunglasses.
wow.
Who's this celebrity?
Who's this try hard? What an idiot. I didn't think I can pull him off. Was so funny. That was the funniest. We laughed out loud. I just didn't think I could pull it off.
Couldn't pull off, man.
Sunglasses. 866-979-3776. Bump. My son's last day of high school is today. He starts at Wazoo in August. Words of advice other than hangover remedies.
Words of advice. Get to know your professors. Let them know you care, because if you're having a bad week or something, you miss an assignment, if they know you care, they will work with you. They're people. They're not Mrs. whoever at your high school who just is strict with the turning in stuff. So yeah, get to know your professors, man. They'll help you out.
Just get through it.
Get through it.
Get through it. What I need to know. Going on a trip with my buddy. Question. Is there an age where you do get your own hotel room, or is splitting/sharing a room acceptable all the time?
Nah, I'm a grown man. I'm not rolling over
if your buddy
to
says,
look at another dude. Get your own room. I just went to Vegas with 4 of my buddies. We all had our own room. I'm a grown man, dog.
What if you had a friend that said, there's this really, really, really nice hotel room, and you can go completely for free, but we are sharing a king bed?
Never.
What if he said 2 queens?
I'm good.
Two
man.
queens, separate.
I'm good. I need my privacy. I'm an only child, too.
What about
I need
2?
privacy.
Okay. Penthouse suite.
Well, that's different
in
because you
Vegas.
have different rooms.
No, listen, but imagine that unfortunately the rule is it has to be 2 king beds.
Then that's a garbage penthouse suite with 2 separate rooms.
And he wants to push them together.
Oh my, what are you doing right now? What are you doing?
Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers.
It's Ryan Roland Smith for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I dropped 30 pounds, and honestly, I feel amazing, and it has been so easy to keep off. But I didn't want to just lose weight. I wanted to be in the best shape of my life. Look, I'm in way better shape than what I was even when I was playing. I've lost all that visceral fat, which is super crucial long term, and now I'm sleeping better. I've got way more energy, and I'm actually maintaining the results. I'm not guessing anymore when it comes to diet. I finally understand my body. The meals are simple, I'm never hungry, and they fit into my lifestyle. And yeah, now that I've dropped the body fat, I can still enjoy an Aussie meat pie on the weekend, and I'm not stressed about it. After speaking with Dr. Coogan, it all made perfect sense. Yes, it was going to take some discipline, but trust me, the results were well worth it. So if you're ready to take control and feel like your best self, go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com and book a 15-minute consultation. It changed everything for me, and it can for you too.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade